All right, I'll call the meeting to order. This is Select Board's third Tuesday of the month meeting, and this is December. First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I ask everybody to join. All set? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome everybody who's viewing and anybody who's on Zoom. Agenda review. Does any of the board members have anything they want to add to the agenda that's not on here that's come up since it's been printed?
Nope.
Ryan? have you-
I've got some changes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, we go to item 4, expenditures, item G, school district orders, that's there by error,
Okay,
okay? Under Old Town Business, again, E, Swanton Rec Commission budget update if available. That is not going to be available this evening, we'll have to take that up January 2nd. Under Newtown Business, we're gonna add as E, Swanton Historical Society. And any other business, any other necessary business, add B for 2024 request for new appropriations.
For who?
We got Franklin County Field Days, and we've got the Abenaki Nation of the Missisquoi for their food shelf.
Have you received a letter from the Northwest Regional Planning Commission? Because I know they sent one to my house.
Yeah.
Should we add that to the list?
No, these are only for, they're repeat, so new ones, yeah.
okay, then we can go on to the minutes.
I wanna add, I had to sign the resolution before we do the minor project.
Yeah.
I need to update it again. So now I need you to sign it, and then the select board sign down here and on page 2.
Okay, so we need to update that.
Old business minutes.
Oh. Okay, so now we can move on to the minutes. We have 2 minutes to approve. Are we gonna approve them both together, or do you wanna do them separate?
Do them together, right?
You can.
I'll make a motion to approve both sets of minutes together.
I only have the December 5th one in front of me. Oh, the other ones were the village ones.
Village one. Well, some meeting having before.
Okay. I do remember to see those. You seconded that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Nobody.
I'll second it.
All right, motion been made and seconded. Is there any discussion, additions, corrections?
I didn't see
Okay.
them.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried, all right. Public comments, and that would be for anything that is not on the agenda. Okay, then we'll go into law enforcement, and we have the animal control, report. Anybody got comments on that? I think you do, Cody. I think-
Yeah, just
go ahead.
to make sure that we're, look at the ordinances for what we should be responding to.
Yeah, apparently he picked up a rooster.
A rooster.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he picked it up.
He just,
Just found rooster.
Found rooster, not from neighborhoods.
he wasn't specifically called, he just happened to run across it.
Well, he didn't say one way or the
Yeah.
other, I believe. He may have just run across it, or I asked for clarification on the areas, but he didn't mention that.
Was it an attack rooster?
They, like on the husky that was attacked by the pit, there was no complaint filed. The dog from Elm Street was found on 4th Street. and returned to the owner. And the unlicensed dog, dogs, he has sent warning letters to both of them to license them.
So he's also the
ASAP.
owner of them?
Yeah, he knew who they were belonged to.
Should be on the back side of this.
Yeah.
Have they come in to get a license, Kathy, or would you know?
Unless they came in on Friday. I can check though, easy enough to see if they're there.
Yeah, actually the incident where the pit attacked a husky, the owner of the pit was issued a warning previously for, they didn't have proof of a license or vaccination record, so probably should follow up on that too, especially since now it has attacked another dog, even though there was nothing was filed, it was previously had been warned.
And he has it listed as unlicensed.
Still unlicensed.
Yeah, but that's the warrant, the letter he sent from Ms. Burns from 5 2nd Street, so she got the warning, so.
Yeah, the husky, the first one by the pit who attacked the husky, that pit, the owner of that pit was warned prior for having no
So
license
Was it licensed when it bit the other dog?
No.
No.
No,
It's still not licensed.
Still was
No,
not
it's
like,
not licensed.
probably should
still not.
follow up on that as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sure that the ordinance state that if it's not done in a certain amount of time, don't they have to pay a fine or?
Yeah,
Yes.
Well, better get a hold of Jim Brian and let him know. But make sure that the ordinances are being followed.
yeah.
Anybody else have any comments or on that? Okay, so now we can go right into the expenditure. And the first one will be the general order. Questions? P.E.G, is that
The hard paper.
yeah, I know, are they already, what are they, still auditing, are they caught up yet?
They're finishing it up now, but they called for a couple of things last week and getting them to them this week, so they can finish it up.
I'll make a motion to approve the orders the general orders from 11/22/2023 to 12/19/2023 in the amount of $109,949.38.
I'll second that.
Alright, motion's been made and seconded to approve the orders as stated. Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Motion carried. Highway orders.
That might be.
Any questions?
Is everything in working order now?
What's that?
Is everything in working order now?
The excavator's not back though. But you got your sander, little sander truck is set?
I'll make a motion to accept the highway orders dated November 22nd, 2023 to December 19th, 2023 in the amount of $42,158.14.
I'll second that.
Alright, motion's been made and seconded to approve the orders as stated, for the dates and the amount. Is there any more discussion? those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. The next one will be ARPA.
I'll make a motion to approve the ARPA orders from 11/22/2023 to 12/19/2023 in the amount of $4,363.20.
I'll second that.
Alright, motion's been made and seconded for the ARPA orders and just for the dates and the amount stated. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Now we go to the library orders.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chair, that we approve the expenses for the period of 11/22/23 to 12/19/23 in the amount of, $1,334.07.
I'll second that.
Alright, motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion or questions? I have one. The Alliance one, that $1,099, is that repair or just a contract?
I believe that's the contract. Yeah.
And that is for a year?
Who's that contract
I'm not sure what can't recall,
It just says maintenance and
just maintenance, but,
Does it have anything to do with that sump pump?
no, I don't.
Was
believe
this just
so.
paid from maybe a previous invoice maybe?
Kathy will tell us.
I think that's what happened last time, it was a couple, it was late or something, didn't send it to us.
That's the question.
Did everybody sign in?
Didn't we approve the school district orders last time?
Right, we did, that's why that was on there.
In error.
Yeah.
Did these have to be taken off?
Oh, well, they'll be blank, but they are just being, just should take.
We did the inspection. So it's just their inspection by Justin, but our did their maintenance. And their inspection went through, just the maintenance of the whole system. If there was anything, they checked everything out, if there was anything he thought was wrong, he would have fixed it, but it looks like he checked everything off. He didn't put any notes that there was anything. Looks like he changed a wash filter.
Is that like once a year, or what is?
No, they
how
do
often?
a quarterly inspection.
Yeah, they
Quarterly.
do quarterly inspections too,
Yeah.
and then they make sure everything's the way it should be. If they see any maintenance that needs to be done, then they'll do it.
But they did come up yesterday and they'll probably be back tomorrow. Remember Laz said about the damper controls on the new system, when they're up there, they're addressing that. So that should be under, that shouldn't be any charge, better not be any charge.
Yeah,
for
there
that.
shouldn't be any.
There shouldn't be any charge for that, no.
Yeah, we don't pay $1,100 every quarter for this, do we?
Well, the inspections are a quarter, and I'd have to get the contract out and take a look, but
Seems high.
I think it is, I'm just trying to find a copy of it.
Well, I don't wanna take up a lot of time.
We can check and get back to everybody.
Can we
but,
hold that one for the time being till we get all the answers to what it is and what it's for?
I know I've got it, I just gotta grab it out of the file, and I'll tell you what it's for.
Well, we can,
You can continue on.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
alright, we'll,
If you have any questions, we can stop.
we'll leave that one for now and then we'll go on to, let's see, after
Highway
the, library, payroll orders. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, highway and general payroll orders.
I'll make a motion to approve highway general payroll orders from 11/22/2023 to 12/19/2023 for the amount of $45,108.59.
Second it.
Alright, motion's been made to approve the highway and general payroll orders for the date and amount stated. Is there any other discussion or questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Motion carried. Now we can go to the library payroll order.
Make a motion to approve the library payroll orders November 22nd, 2023 to December 19th, 2023 in the amount of $8,221.
I'll second that.
Alright, motion been made to approve the library payroll orders for the date and amount stated. Any questions? Okay, all those in favor?
all right.
Aye.
Motion carried, so we'll have to go back to the, library orders. Kathy can give us a report on that. Highway department, Kevin, you got at least one thing to report on the positive side.
As you all know, we've had a pond in front of the parking lot since the garage has been moved. Well, Brian Jordan pulled in one day, see it, he called me, wanted to do something for the town, donate his time and material, put a pipe in for us. That's all I had to do was find a catch basin and stuff like that. And Dean over there to the village, he had one there, give us that. We had it great. We all worked together and Ryan bored and put a pipe to the back. And now it's no more water.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's good stuff.
Very,
Yeah.
very good, you know. Nice of him to do that for us.
Yeah.
Yes, it was something that needed to get corrected, and dragged along for a long time, and certainly could have, somewhat of a safety issue in the wintertime, you know, with that water
Yeah.
freezing in
Yeah.
there.
That's awesome.
So, we still got to put together the highway department budget. I know Kevin has been working on it, kinda waiting for Kathy, and now she's pretty much at the point where we got some final numbers in. We're gonna take a look at what we have for funding, what's for rollover, because we are gonna have to pay for that new truck this year.
It's every 6 months.
Every 6 months.
Everything, okay, that makes more sense then.
Yeah.
Do you want to go back and approve them orders now? Okay, somebody wanna motion?
I think they
What-
already
what made
motioned
and
and
seconded?
seconded. Yeah, I just need
Yeah.
discussion.
Okay, so, I assume there'll be no more discussion, so all those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Alright, the orders are done. Get one thing done tonight. I hope that we have that highway budget to be discussed at our first January meeting, is that realistic? And Kevin has all the vehicles on the road right now. We ended up spending about 10 grand on that one truck, but it is working fine now.
It was, we took it for a test drive. I'm gonna have them take it for a ride tomorrow probably, make sure it's still, everything's good. We test drove it around town, seemed to go good. No guarantees.
And with all this rain, was there any issues here in Swanton?
The only road we have underwater right now is Ball Farm, no other issues,
No culvert damage anywhere, is it?
nothing that showed up yet.
Have you dared to go up to Swanton Hill?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Been up there.
Alright.
twice actually today.
Yeah.
I had to go up and plow.
Snowed up there instead of raining.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you'd like to bring up, Kevin, while you're here?
I think we're good.
Is there any of the board members have any questions? It was just that one that, was it somebody that called you?
Oh, yeah, yeah, about the backing up the truck on Route 7 or something like that. Someone said whoever's plowing Bashaw Road maybe, they're backing into Route 7. They find it to be a safety hazard, but
That's,
I said I would ask, and that's about it.
that's always been,
Mhm.
we had a better way, but there's always gonna be backing somewhere.
Mhm.
No, you can't push that snow out on the state highway.
Well, we have to push it off
Oh,
and, you know,
Right.
then back up.
then back up. And then you have to push it off the road and back up. I back out on the 78,
Just the nature of the game. Yeah.
to clean the intersection of Campbell Bay Road, I push that in, back up, take back off, you know.
Yep.
Even Lakewood Drive.
Did you say,
That sounds terrifying.
Hmm?
did you say that this resident was concerned before? Did she, or was this the first time that we've heard?
They
of it?
mentioned it last year. We talked about last year, same thing, and then they asked again this year, and it's the same thing.
I've got it going a little bit different, but,
Yeah. Sometimes it's just tough to.
I
Yeah.
talked with the
Yeah.
driver. And we'll try something a little different in front of his place.
Is there a procedure that's recommended in those type of situations by the, you know, because I know you go to safety courses with the Vermont Leagues of Cities, Towns and all that. Nothing, because you gotta turn around, you got, you know.
Yeah. Sure. Sometimes it's out of everybody's control.
We try to wait for a clear, you know, no cars or
Yeah.
anything coming.
Well, I don't believe we need to take any action on that, but if the individual does still present a concern, then maybe we should address a letter saying that, you know, we're following.
Mhm.
But like I said, I talked with the operator, and we're gonna try something different in that area.
Yeah. But you never had any safety issues doing that.
Never had,
Most of the time, when you're out there at 4 in the morning, there's nobody around anyway.
Right.
alright.
Any other questions for Kevin?
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right.
Mr. Chair, before we move on, would you like me to draft a letter of appreciation to Mr. Jordan and on behalf
Yes,
of the
I think,
board?
it's very, very appropriate.
You'll be in tomorrow here?
I can't,
Okay.
I can't, yeah, I can
Yeah,
stop by.
yeah.
So you wanna make a motion, probably make a motion that, we have Brian address a letter of appreciation to Ryan Jordan for, providing that service for the
So
town.
moved.
I'll second.
You got it?
She
Fight
said
over
it.
it?
Nope. She got it for me.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to have a letter addressed to Ryan Jordan and to thank him for the work he did for the town. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, Brian, for that.
And also, the guys and us, we just wanna thank you for the kind gesture for Christmas.
Welcome.
Well, it's not an awful lot, but we do appreciate what you guys do.
Lot.
A lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anything else?
Nope.
All right, you can stay, Kevin, if you don't have to.
You want some supper?
All
Have a
right,
good evening.
we're on to Old Town business and update on Small Business Saturday, and I'm gonna turn that over to Nicole.
So I went out for Small Business Saturday, and I hope everyone here did as well. Our business owners really put a lot of effort into marketing the event in the community. They got together and pulled money for their own marketing campaign in the newspaper, and they thought that it helped. They also under the guidance of Darcy Benoit from Ease on Broadway, are discussing establishing a business association, which would be different from the Chamber of Commerce, but they'd still like to work with the Chamber of Commerce from my understanding. But conversations have come up at the Swanton Enhancement Project under the Economic Development Task Force about what other kind of supports they might need, and they'd like to continue that conversation with both municipalities, the town and the village.
So, Nicole, you probably keep an eye on those things that are going on, and, you know, anything that they feel that the town they might wanna bring before the town, and if they have anything specific that we can do to help their businesses. I'd like to see you keep following up on that. Those small businesses, seem to be doing fairly well. When I was in there was traffic in there for sure, and, you know, there's type of businesses that could stay and be long-term in our downtown, and that is important. Anybody else have any comments?
I think it's great that they're talking about a small business association or whatever. Too bad they couldn't merge the missions of the chamber and this new group that they're thinking about now, so we don't have two separate groups, hopefully working in the same direction, but it might be more efficient if they re-examine maybe the mission of the chamber and added that other function in there, just a suggestion.
I mean, I do think that the chamber's always looking for ways, and Mr. Rosso can probably talk more about this than I can, they're always looking for ways to continue to be relevant
Sure.
in their mission. One of the things that the business owners, the feedback that I've received is, you know, they're already putting their hours into their business, it's hard to make additional meetings, so it's something that they're incorporating into their day-to-day as communicating. Just it's that whole networking piece that they all wanna start working together to start really driving business into our downtown.
Yeah, I know St. Albans did something like that for Main Street. They all kind of daisy chained together and worked together, and even created like gift cards and stuff like that. That was pretty popular.
They did raffles this year, which I think was really well, I mean, this when I was there, it was very well attended, and each store had a raffle item, so every purchase you entered into the raffle, so that was great. They're building on the model of Enosburg has a really great business association as well as Barry, it's a partnership, so that's kind of what they've been using as a model.
That's good.
Alright, I'm looking at this.
Oh, next.
Whoops, Nick, go ahead.
I can make a comment if you want.
Yes.
Yeah, Darcy Benoit, who's spearheading the Small Business Association, has been attending chamber meetings. She had trouble with her first meeting getting a little bit off the ground, but once we get it up, she gets it off the ground, she's attending meetings, there's gonna be a lot of room for collaboration, and I'm sure we're gonna be sharing ideas all the time.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be critical, I feel, you know, if we're gonna keep a healthy downtown area here in the village, you know, people are gonna have to work together and we're gonna have to promote it. And I believe that this board is certainly willing to, you know, help you with that. Just want small businesses to know that. This follow-up discussion on that joint meeting on December 4th, and then we got the select down on Newtown business. Can't we just put that all together?
Yeah.
Because they do,
Yeah.
you know, instead of skipping over it, all right?
Yeah.
So, the follow-up discussion on the joint meeting, there was a fair amount of public input there. Did anybody else have any thoughts after thinking about that?
I think a good open meeting.
I think it's great to see a lot of engagement from the community, and people are out really voicing their thoughts and opinions.
You have anything, Cody?
No, it was just a lot of information, and it was good to see people come out and like Nicole said, voicing their opinions.
Well, there was a lot of information, of course, there was, the biggest thing, was the tax impact of the total proposal was shocking, I don't know if we've actually even recovered from that yet, but, the issues, at least with the policing part, are something that we have to sooner or later come to terms with and decide, you know, what's gonna be done here in Swanton. And this will bring us down to the discussion, the public hearing on expanded town police coverage. Tentatively, right now, we have a facility for January 9th.
That's correct.
Swanton Central School Cafeteria, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, you can seat 180 people.
160.
160? No, okay.
They can set chairs for 160,
160. So,
and they will do it, we don't have to go to it.
Okay. It will be on Zoom too, right?
we'll have to work on that, but it will be
Yes.
on Zoom.
I have the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi and everything set up to do it, we should be able to do it from this computer.
Okay, all right.
Alright. I just wanna put this out, I believe that that meeting is designed for town residents, okay? We need the town residents' input of what they feel Swanton Town needs for police protection in the future. Because that's really at the heart of the issue right now. I mean, until we decide that, we can't even give a proper answer to the village proposal. And it is up to the residents of this community of Swanton Town to give us their input and direct us as to what they would like to see.
Well, you're talking about 70 hours versus 24/7.
Yes, yes. That would be one of the things, because if we go, no matter what we do, even if we go with this proposal, or we go back and negotiate with the village and say, look, we gotta come up with something that's more affordable, it still may be 24/7, maybe too much. But if people really need it, then, you know, we can try to do it. I think we can do it for less than what's being proposed now, but it's never gonna be cheap, okay? And I know right now it's very difficult to separate that from from the proposal, okay? Because the proposal takes in not only police, but it also takes in the fire, which adds another additional cost to it. So, you know, as board members, we all have our own opinion on this, and we're entitled to it, just like the residents of this community are, but the first and most important thing that we need to address is how people feel and what they feel is needed for police protection here in Swanton. Until we get that answer from the people, you know, I hate to make too many arguments one way or the other. And I believe that they'll feel there is some importance to having police coverage. And then, if that's what the feeling is, then we have to find a way of coming up with some kind of proposal. Or view all the options that are available to us. And we need to be fair to the village trustees on this, because they're gonna need some kind of answer fairly soon from the town, whether we, you know, are gonna do this 24/7 in that proposal, which I don't think it's gonna happen, but they need an answer, an official answer from the board.
I think we're gonna get a pretty good indication from our meeting which way the taxpayers wanna go.
Yeah.
When we leave there, we're gonna know. And I think the village will know the next morning which direction we're gonna go.
And Brian has stated that there will be no village presentation there, and it's not intended, it'll be a select board presentation.
Well, should they be there in case there's questions that we can't answer?
No, we don't wanna really, well, I mean, we know enough about the proposal, you know, to answer basic general questions. If they wanna get into details, there's been plenty of meetings here lately by the village, they could've got all the detailed information they wanted. You know, and it's not a proposal that we put together, so. And I don't wanna dwell a lot of the time at that meeting, specifically on a proposal, I wanna dwell on police coverage, that discussion.
Okay,
I think it's something that needs to be done, and right now it's, you know, people are all fired up about it, and we're still gonna have to do something. And I wanna make sure they understand that, you know, what's at stake here, and, you know, that we probably can come up with some other alternatives, but it's gonna depend upon what they feel is important. And I don't know how the members have any different opinions on that or not.
No, I agree. I think that it's an opportunity to discuss what police coverage looks like for the entire community. I know there's been lots of questions about whether people wanna remain with the Swanton Village, if they just wanna hope for the best with BSP, they wanna go to the sheriff's office, and I think we'll be able to really have a good understanding from this public hearing.
Yeah, we'll find out for sure. I think it'll be quite clear.
won't take long.
Yeah. But I hope for a good turnout though, that's,
Yeah, so.
I mean, the
certainly.
more the better, that'd be.
Okay, so along those lines, there's somebody.
Mr. Clark had that.
When you're done discussing, I just got a
Okay.
question if I could ask it.
Okay, well, along those lines, we are preparing for a mass mailing. And who wants to report on that, right?
Well,
Christina, you've done most of the legwork on that, I know that.
So
We have a proposal.
I've been working with Spectrum Marketing in New Hampshire. Nicole helped me make the postcard, and the proposal is that we will mail this postcard to every Swanton Town resident. It's 1,830 residents.
How many?
I'm taking out
1,800?
1830. I've taken out camps, people that it's their second home because they can't vote here. And the estimate is $1,255.20. And I need to let him know by tomorrow so that they can be printed and ready to mail by the 27th, to be in people's mail by the 3rd.
Did you say residents or dwellings, 1,820, wouldn't it be dwellings?
Yes, okay.
Okay, thank you.
What, and then you took out the camps too, 'cause,
So I took out camps and anybody, like if it was their second home, anybody with an out-of-state address, unless they actually have their mail sent somewhere. There was 2 that Tanya knew of that actually have an out-of-state mailing address but live here in Swanton. We left local businesses because, even though they're mailed out of state, like for instance Cargill, because that will affect their taxes.
Mhm.
So we started at like almost 3,000 and narrowed down the camp, like travel trailers, stuff like that.
If somebody bought a home for investment purposes and they don't live in it, and it's in the town, they're not gonna get one of these.
No, because they can't vote here anyway.
Okay,
on your
I just
taxes.
wanna make sure, thanks.
So if that's what you'd like to do, I would need a motion to sign, to
that's it.
process that tomorrow with him. And if approve the postcard that Nicole designed.
Yeah, is there any more information that should be on here that,
I think you did a good job.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Just the comment I made that I don't want people to think that we're
You
doing
just
this
have to
for
leave the
full-time
one
coverage.
side the way it is, because that's where they'll
right,
address it.
he wants to change this
Okay,
language.
and that's fine.
Just as a discussion on police coverage. and
I
so
don't
on.
know if you'll be able to leave that because will postage go there, I don't know, but maybe you could move it.
I can move that if you'd like.
Yeah. But that's them addressing them, mailing them everything. It's 69 cents a piece. I mean, if we made them ourselves, it's 51 cents just for postage each. So,
I make a motion, we accept the proposal.
I'll second that.
All right, the motion's been made and seconded to hire
Spectrum Marketing Companies in New Hampshire,
for the amount of
$1,255.20.
2,000.
$1,255.20.
Okay. All right, motion been made and seconded, and all those in favor?
Okay.
Right.
Take it
All
out.
right, motion carried. I know that
I'll
we're
send
probably,
you some new language in the morning.
Thank
I
you for-
know we're probably gonna miss some people, and some people are gonna be mad because they didn't get one, but trying to do the best we can. This always happens when you do a mass mailing, but now, tomorrow you're gonna get on the website.
It'll be on the website, it'll be on the Facebook, it'll be on the sign. Do you want it in the newspaper? So being the 9th, we would wanna do it the Tuesday the 9th, we wanna do it that Friday, the 5th?
yeah,
Okay.
but can we do something different in the paper? I know it ain't cheap, but could we get a banner?
She's good at designing. She could teach me. Yes, we can make anything you want.
Okay,
In the paper, they're easy. I mean, I can do that and then put it into a newsletter, so that's fine. Okay.
alright, now, I think we do have to do a presentation at that particular
Yeah.
meeting.
Right.
And I do have a couple of questions I think that we should answer is, what kind of contract are we getting into, and can we legally get into a long-term contract? Can a board approve a long-term contract that obligates future boards to that?
I'll have to research that, but well, if you sign a 10-year loan or a 5-year loan, you're
That's a
obligated.
loan.
Right, but it's still a contract.
Well, maybe, but
But, you know, I don't know, that's something I'll have to check in.
we need to make sure that there's no
Right.
particular things we have to do to legally enter into the contract.
Yeah,
Okay, Joe, you had a comment or question?
Yeah, just, well, actually a comment and two comments now. In the past, we did contracts, but it was 1 year with option years, not, so you could do one with 9, but it's option years, so you had an opportunity not to extend it pretty easily, but that's, so we did in the past for some of it, we did like one with 3 years or one with 4 years. And then, I don't know if anyone had a chance, I went to the first open house Thursday night, and, I really encourage you folks to go see it, and, also for the meeting on the 9th, I would get what they put out at that for their cost to the village and stuff. They did not show the 24-hour option, so the town option that they showed was basically at the 10 hours and what the impact was on the village folks, but I think it'd be important to have the numbers that were put out that night, because it's a little different than what we talked about that Tuesday prior.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that would bring me to the next thing, we need to, know exactly what our 2024 proposal is gonna be from the village.
right, for,
That number
Yeah.
has changed from what,
my understanding is it has changed.
and you haven't received the
I have
number.
not received it yet. But that's not unusual, because every year we have to, you know, they want to approve it first before it comes here.
So you should talk to Bill and see if it's
Yeah.
possible that we'd at least have
Yeah.
it by January 9th.
Yeah.
You had a question about that? Oh, you good? Okay.
Cause on the 2024 paper that they gave out, it did have the prices for fire and for police on that paper they did give out. I don't know if it's the same on what you guys were thinking or not.
I didn't
but
see
it
the
was on
24-hour
that
coverage
paper.
when I went. I went to an open house. I didn't see the 24-hour coverage option in the town on that
No,
paper
no,
that they
they
gave
took
out.
not
They took that
They
off.
took that
but
off.
They had the fire and the.
Right.
Yeah, for the
Police.
2024 budget on what you're paying, or what it would be when you're paying.
The
Right.
bond cost on the fire.
Okay, so that wouldn't be 2024 cost,
No,
that's
that's
2025
No,
cost.
2024, and then they had the option on cause the way Bill had said, the 2025 option with the bond, you add 1/3% to that price there, and that's what your taxes would be, or what the payment would be. Cause it had the 2023, the 2024, and then the 2025 with the bond. And then they basically said you add 1/3 of what that was on that. I don't have the paper with me, I think I had it in the car, but I'm not sure.
So basically what I took from it was the 2024, they'd be doing a quote for, the town coverage would be 1/3 of their services. So
Yeah.
they're expecting, the quote would be about 1/3 of what. it
Of
would-
their total
of their
budget.
total budget would
That's
be.
for 2024.
That's what was presented, which I could recollect, yeah. I don't have the paper in front of me either, but that's what I recollect. So,
2024 with the 24/7.
No,
no, they didn't have that on that
Oh,
paper
they did.
during the open
Oh,
house.
So it would be the,
The
just for
10.
the 10.
The 10.
Most
So
of
the
the
10
time
hour,
document really confusing to try to figure out.
it is, because
it is.
it's a year away.
We kept asking them to, what if they broke it down, if the town decided they didn't want anything to do with it at all. And so we should be able to see those projections based, I mean, just this kind of seems to be like the most ideal for them, but so they really, for the town voters or for the village voters, everybody should really have a, if this is what happens, this is what it's gonna be, this is what happens, this is what it's gonna be. But the whole thing just seemed confusing, and what to add up, what to subtract, and
Right.
wasn't very transparent.
And I think having accurate information is going to be crucial.
Yeah.
Extremely crucial, so we're gonna have to keep working on
Yeah.
that, so we need to, because right now, we don't know what we're gonna have to appropriate, if we decide to appropriate for 2024.
And none of this seemed to really also add in, you know, what the facility's gonna cost to run, and all those projections as well. It's one thing to build it, and then a thing to do the rest of the stuff, but what are the real overall implications of making this decision?
Yeah, and the other thing too, it might be nice to get narrowed down and report accurately, how much of it is actually going into the building for the police and the fire, and how much is going in for renovation for the village's public work?
All along, they have said that they're keeping that separate.
Yeah, but it's all $19 million.
No,
No.
No, they did separate
it's
it.
19 million plus
Yeah. How many?
19 million
Yeah.
for the police fire station.
No,
Oh,
that's,
and that's
no, it's
on
14
top.
million.
And, or 14.
It's 14,
It's about 15 million
yeah,
for the
14
fire
point
station,
something,
Okay, and
yeah.
then-
5 for renovating
Right.
the complex.
Well, I was told 5, it was 7,
Yeah,
but
something like
something
that.
like that.
Well, we need to get that number pinned down too, because, we keep seeing 19 million reported everywhere, but that's not the cost for the police and the fire. That includes the
That
renovation.
could include the renovation.
So I'm pretty sure it was like 14 point something million for the building, is what the presentation they did, that's what I recollect seeing.
We need them numbers too, just to have a, cause we gotta. Is there anything else that you would, and we got time to put this together, so keep thinking on it. If there's something you want to see presented there, get a hold of Brian, he'll be putting the PowerPoint together.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any more comments on that?
And what about the letter we got?
Oh, the letter we got.
No, the letter.
Oh, the letter,
The
that's
letter
right.
that I did.
I did ask that a letter be put into the, on our website.
Oh, yeah.
What I was-
yeah.
Notice of this
Yeah.
meeting.
Read that.
We could possibly also send that letter as a letter to the editors in the paper.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's not a
possible
bad
too.
idea either.
That's possible too,
That's been well shared, people,
what's that?
that's been well shared on social media.
Oh,
It
yeah,
has?
yeah, it has.
How to
Yeah.
get on there?
No, I haven't put it on.
No, not the letter,
Oh, not the letter.
no.
just in
No, the
general.
date for the,
Oh, for the meeting, yeah.
Yeah. But that's a good idea to put in the letter for the editor.
Yeah. So we'll put it on.
Has everybody read the letter on the board?
Yes.
Is there anything you would like to see added or subtracted before we
Good job.
make it official?
No, pretty straightforward.
So you want this letter on the website?
I would like to have it on there.
Yeah. On the website, our Facebook page, send it as a letter to the editor.
Okay.
And the other thing when I was looking at that website, Christina, was when you go down to town news, that should be the first thing you see right now. And then click on learn more and the letter will come up, the meeting date will come up.
Well, it will be the first thing until we post something else.
Yeah, but you can't leave it there for
Pin it.
longer.
You can't pin it.
You can't pin it. Can we, you want this to be shared on social media as well?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
I can put it on in
Social media is like the #1 way to get information out there. It's pretty crazy. Everybody shares everything, so. And a lot.
So you can do it then? I knew you could. Any other thoughts? If not, then I guess we should make a motion that we're gonna set that meeting for January 9th.
I'll make a motion to set the meeting for January 9th, 2024,
And the time at 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
At the
Swanton Central School Cafeteria.
Yeah, it couldn't be in the gymnasiums because they would both have basketball games.
At the same time?
At the same time?
So there's gonna be,
Parking
could be a
issues.
parking disaster.
It will be a parking disaster.
Yeah.
Well, then, can we was there anything else available?
Well, if you wanted it in the gymnasium, the 10th was available. That Wednesday, the next day.
We ought to consider that.
You know it's gonna be a disaster for parking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
With
mean,
2 basketball games back to back like that, right? And
Any,
it's-
any event happening there.
Plus, it's gonna take away from potential people going to the meeting, right? If there's
Okay,
basketball,
yeah.
You
right?
wanna do it the 10th?
Swanton.
Would, do you think the school would have a problem? Did
They,
we?
they suggested the 10th.
Okay.
If we
okay.
were determined and wanted a gymnasium, they said the 10th. If we wanted it that day, they recommended the cafeteria.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
that's
so
a
we'll
whole
check, we'll
different
do it.
discussion now.
No, but the 10th was available.
Yeah.
I would go
That's
to
the
10th.
access off Grand Avenue?
No, the access,
Off
Fourth
Fourth
Street,
But you can park on the Grand Avenue and walk around.
you can.
Yeah, let's change the date because we wanna capture as many folks as we
Yeah.
can. Not drive them
Is there anything else happening that day before we settle?
So the principal had said, by checking, there was 2 basketball games on events on the night. This is not to say we couldn't move it, but anyway. Wednesday, January 10th would be a possible, as that night is clear for the Babcock gym.
No, that would be
It's
the,
bad.
Babcock
function.
is not
No.
not the right venue for this at all.
Okay. We probably still could use the cafeteria.
The Babcock gym is not large enough.
It's not?
No.
well, it could,
never been.
it would seat 160 people.
That's not the Babcock, that.
Yeah, we're talking about
that-
the Central.
The Babcock is the smaller of the schools.
I know the Babcock is, but it still would should be able to seat 160
I
people.
still don't think that's the right venue.
Well,
Well,
we used to
probably
do
could
town
still use
We
meeting.
used to do town and village meeting there.
Yeah, that used to be the venue. back
Right,
in
but
the day.
they reuse the space currently. I'm in there every Tuesday and every Thursday. I still don't feel that that is the right venue for it. The Babcock gym, I think the central school is
The
a
Central
better
School
place.
cafeteria would work. I'm sure that's available the 10th.
When you say venue, you mean the location or the inside of the building?
The building itself.
Building itself.
The Babcock school is very small, and the way that they're using it for their programming now, I don't think that it would accommodate. I think the central school cafeteria is a better spot than the Babcock gym.
Well, how many-
But they're using it for basketball that same night, on the Tuesday night. They're playing basketball in there.
They're using the central school gymnasium to play
But
basketball.
also the Babcock building.
They said that both gymnasiums would use that for basketball.
Right, I don't think I think
Never been in
if
there.
if we're going to use a gymnasium, the central school gymnasium is a better gymnasium space. I do think the cafeteria will work just fine. I don't think the Babcock gymnasium is big enough, especially with the way traffic has to flow into that building.
So do you want me to see if the cafeteria is all right for the 10th?
How much parking is there on the 4th Street entrance to the school versus the Grand Avenue entrance if we use the different?
There's more on the 4th Street because then you have overflow over to
Okay.
the old town garage parking lot.
Okay.
Is
I
that
should
how
know
you
that,
access
but-
the Central School's 4th Street?
Yes.
So then that would work.
And there's parking on the back side of the central school in the bus.
The bus loop too, yeah.
So I have a huge chain email with them all. Let me see.
Go ahead, Heather.
if everybody was-
Is the high school, I haven't been in there for the theater area big enough? Is
Oh, yeah.
that something that would, and parking's easier there?
And you?
You know, I know the gymnasium, I'm sure is probably busy, but
You just gotta check to see if they're doing any musical stuff, but I don't,
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be a
See
horrible
if you
idea.
can put it on the new digital sign in the front.
yeah,
Yeah, and then you have the big screen in the back, you could put your presentation on, everybody would see it.
yeah.
And they would certainly have
Space.
Oh,
The
boy,
space
yeah,
and the-
almost 1,000 people, I think, right,
No issue
900.
parking there.
Do you want me to say about that?
Yes.
For the 9th or the 10th?
Either.
Whatever night it's available. Cause I mean, the 9th or 10th, it doesn't make any difference to us what night it is, it's just what's available and what else is going on. But I guess I would stay to the 10th now if you're saying there's 2 basketball games at the elementary school on the 9th.
That's true.
Cause I
You
can
don't want
limit
to,
some people's ability to be there.
I mean, no matter what day, there's gonna be somebody.
Yeah, I know.
2 basketball games, that's quite a few parents that are
Well,
Swanton
they can
residents.
watch it on the cable network actually too, if they want, so.
Well, we could set it up with microphones for people to speak and keep some, so everybody can hear and some order there.
Also on the 9th is a school board meeting, so
So the 10th would probably
The
be.
10th
would
seems,
be a better day anyways.
So MVU Theater is available January 10th.
It
So
is.
the que- no,
probably
is
should
that
mail
the
those
question?
out until we
Okay,
get
yeah,
this date.
yeah.
We
Pardon?
probably shouldn't mail those flyers out until we get
No.
this date hammered down, right?
So I will get a
I don't have a
response
date,
either
I'm
tonight
sorry,
or
not my
morning,
date.
so we can all talk about it tomorrow. Cause that's gonna go out to them soon to get them there,
Okay.
because of the 2 holidays in the middle.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
alright, so right now we're looking
Okay, so
at
this email
MVU on
is
the
going.
10th and Central Cafeteria on the 10th.
2 options.
And so whatever option you can come up with tomorrow morning, we'll have to get back to Christina, everybody will have to get back to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the easy way to do this is, what would you prefer? If you had, if we could get either one, which would you prefer?
10th. I think we ought to go with the 10th.
Yeah, but, okay, the
I think either way it
10th?
should be the 10th, but he.
Well, what
either- and go with the
facilities?
school.
I'm easy with either one. I mean, one's easier to get to for the Swanton. Well, depending where you live,
Yeah.
either one's gonna be easy, so. I think
Yeah, I
just
don't
check the
agree.
availability and
Yeah.
And the other thing is, rather than having to tie up Brian and Christina with getting to all of us, just
I can send
tell us
it.
what,
No, we just send it.
just do it. Okay?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, if we had a preference right
Yeah,
now,
just-
they'd know.
Just do it.
Yeah, we'll let you make the call.
I mean, it looks like on the 10th, I'm not seeing anything on their schedule at NVU
Oh, yeah, that's what I was checking.
throwing out.
Okay, so I asked them about that.
Yes, and we give them a very favorable, land deal, so we shouldn't have any problem.
You think so, huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll tell you a bridge.
It's time to pull a favor, Brian, okay?
Yeah, no,
I'll
no,
wait for a bigger one.
that's fine.
Wait, yeah, there, that one too.
All right, are we set on this now?
Yeah.
Okay. We will have one more select board meeting before the meeting actually takes place, right?
Yeah, second.
Yeah. Yeah. We probably get it, at that meeting, we should have basically what Brian's gonna pretty much put together. Okay, so now we can go on to status update on the revolving loan fund.
Yeah, just quickly, finally, because this all hinges on the revolving loan fund, comes from the leader evaporator. And that grant has now been successfully closed out. So that's a good thing. So now I'm just waiting for them still to give the okay so that we can go ahead and start working with the revolving loan fund. So assuming that the people got the letter they should have by now last week, so I will keep after them to see where we are, but everything for the part that they were waiting for has been taken care of, and as well as for that, and as well as the grant for the Abnaki that we're working on, they gave them the green light to go ahead and do what they need to do because we sent in our new policies. For now, they're
Yeah.
okay, for now.
Yeah. And you've already got how we're gonna operate this revolving loan
Yeah.
fund, they already have.
Well, that's what they got, that they gotta agree with.
Okay.
So that's, that's where we stand for now. So
And-
it looks better than it did a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, so we do have someone who's interested in this fund.
Yeah.
That would be investing money in the village downtown.
That's right, that's right, and there may also be another party also interested.
And I think, you know, we've had, you know, Gordon Winters, has made a sizable investment down in that area. And, you know, help him be successful and help other businesses be successful. I mean, and if the need is there now, we can't keep waiting. That's kind of the reason why this is getting more critical every day. We don't wanna miss an opportunity. All right, so we're looking better than we have in a long
Right.
time.
Yeah.
All right. Now we'll move on to the Swanton Public, Library Budget Update. And Abby, you're here, you might as well come up.
Good evening.
How's the electrical going?
Great.
No more flickering?
Nope, we're back to normal now.
My first question is, you're showing no income for 2024. Is that because you don't expect it, or just because you don't wanna, why isn't some income being shown?
We never put the income in because it's so, it varies so much. It's none of it is firm money, it's all soft money, it's, we can't rely on any of it.
Could you average it?
Oof.
Yeah, because, well, you got your two trusts in there, I mean, do you use that every year that way, or no?
This is how we've put it in every year for the last 4 years at least since I've been here. Cause that varies too.
So you take out then trust what you need to make up the difference?
We do, yeah, yeah.
And those trusts you can do, is there a limit?
Yeah.
Any kind of restrictions on them?
There's a lot of restrictions on what we can use it for. So we leave so we took some stuff off of the budget, which is why it's considerably lower than the last time we were here, that we're just gonna pay for out of the trust. It's really limited, like programs and books.
And you had a $25,000, almost $26,000 grant last year.
We had lots of grants last year, lots of little grants that added up, yep.
Are you anticipating that this year?
We're hoping, but we can't guarantee
Okay,
grant
so-
money either.
Have you applied for quite a few,
We
Abby?
just asked.
We
So far this year?
we've applied for, I mean, we haven't applied for any for 2024 because they
Yeah.
all come out staggered through 2024, but we will apply for grants, absolutely.
We-
No.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, we had a couple of questions on the trust that was set up with the funds. And I think I'm the one that asked, what was the size of these?
Yep,
We have two, I guess, one is the Webster and one is the Vera Klein.
yep.
Do you know offhand what the size of those are?
Do not know that offhand, but I will
Okay.
make sure that gets forwarded to Brian and then he can
Yeah,
share that
I think
with
that's
you guys.
important because we want to make sure that there's some continuity there
Yep,
as far as the income stream. And I wouldn't mind looking at those, I don't know if it's kosher, but just to see what kind of restrictions might be in there.
yeah, we have the person who manages it comes and does a meeting, that might be a good time to come and ask them the questions
I'd
and
be
get
glad
the,
to.
yeah.
Yeah, just
I'll make
curious.
sure I get that date for you.
Yeah, and if I could see them, I'll start, just lay them out, I'll stop at the library or something, look at them,
Okay,
just to see what the context is.
okay.
Yeah, because, you know, as I mentioned before, you know, and you're well aware of, you know, there are some issues we're gonna have to deal in that library. And
Oh,
then,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and, you know, we're looking for funding from every source we can get, because we got a lot of other things to deal with. And, you know, we may have to use some of that trust may have to be used to make a permanent fix in that building.
that's why I
Yep,
wanna see,
we're
the-
all well aware of that and are prepared for that. And,
Yeah.
that's why I wanna see the comments that are in there.
Yep.
Yeah, so it would be.
I think the Webster is the one that's a little more flexible and the Vera is a little more tight for what we can use it for.
Okay.
But
And
yeah, I'll get that.
And Steve would be definitely the ideal person to take a look at that to see what, if there's not a restriction yet, that'll keep us from being able to use it for that particular purpose.
Right.
Specifically for that purpose.
Yep.
Does anybody?
We're also actively looking for grants for the building as well to help with all of that. And we did get that $5,000 grant, we received it.
Okay. Now, we're still waiting to hear back from Laz.
Yeah, so.
Have you talked to him lately?
We've had a little bit of an email exchange, says he's working on it, so, but, I said, well, we're in the middle of doing budgets, we need to know what's going on.
Okay, so he's aware.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I'm assuming he'll get something to us here fairly soon, before the budgets
Yeah.
have to be set.
Right.
Because what's our deadline, Kathy, to?
I don't know, we want it, no, that's, we have to get ready to print. I would say no later than the first or second week of January.
So by the 15th of January, we gotta have things pretty well set, so you can get it ready for the printer.
Because that holds me up with my budgets, because I can't finalize mine. So we finalize all these other ones.
All right, well, I guess we'll go forward to this, I'm a little, you don't have anything on the income side, and you may go ahead and do a bunch of programs that you're figuring income's coming in, but then if it don't come in, then you gotta pull more money out of the trust. If you don't have a policy, the library trustees don't have a policy of how much money they would take a year for programs.
I don't think we have a policy, but typically we take, I think it's 5,000 for programs and collection.
From the trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're showing, like 23,000 here last year.
That's what the trust made, and it's sitting in we didn't spend that.
That's the income.
Yeah, that's the income, that's
the-
sitting in
That's
an
the
account.
income.
That's the
Okay.
income.
So you're gonna have income this year out of that too?
Yeah,
Alright,
but it varies,
yeah.
so that's why it's not listed, but yes, we will.
And that income is tied to the return on your investment or the portion allocated that you can spend.
I think it's the return on the investment, any money it makes gets put into an account.
Okay, and you're eligible to take it all, or are you restricted to a percentage of the earnings? Do you
That I
know?
don't know off the top of
Okay.
my head.
All right,
Staff wages?
okay.
6.9, everyone else is 3.7.
I do have a question on the staff wages.
Yeah, that's what I got.
I know that you wanted to bring some of your folks up to par. I think did we use a number of 3.72?
3.7.
3.7. So this is close to double what the town has allocated for salary increases going into 2024. Can you help me a little bit? How much, are there some new folks in here, new hires?
No, this is just current staff trying to get them up to what other libraries in the area are paying their staff. And this is still not comparable. This is still very low.
And I'm still confused. I don't know how much control we have over your expenditures because of that law that Brian referenced one time of legislation. But if we said to you, we want you to fall in line with the salary increases to meet the percentage that the town has put into play, could you do that?
That would be very difficult so when we've come and talked in previous years, we've been talking about trying to get our staff up to a wage that is comparable with other
Sure.
libraries in the area. So I think without, we can maybe take it down some, but I don't think the rate that you are doing for the rest of the town is gonna get us anywhere near comparable. And I mean, this isn't even getting us near comparable.
And I understand you'd like to be on the same level or close to with other libraries. And I hear that story every time I turn around, not just libraries, of course. But I think we have to be on par with what we can do, referencing what other people get paid in other industries. It's not an industry, but, so I don't know I would buy that, to be honest with you. So I'd still like to see you try to get that down to maybe it's a 2-year program, or maybe it's over 3 years, you have to bring them up to par. Let's see if you can do something to bring that down to the same level that utilizing at the town. Just a suggestion. And how much can we ask them to do, Brian? Isn't the library pretty much separate?
My understanding, it is,
Okay.
but,
They are town employees.
they are town
That's where I was
employees.
headed,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I guess my question is, and I understand what you're wanting to do with bringing them on par with other libraries, but what are your, well, take, for instance, your position. You were, what, 30 or 40 hours a week?
40.
40, okay. And these other positions you're comparing them to are also all 40?
No. Oh, yes, that I'm comparing them up, yes,
yeah,
absolutely,
okay,
yeah.
all right. And what are the sizes of the libraries compared to, I mean, I'm talking about the operating hours of the library.
Yeah, I can send you, there was actually, the Vermont Department of Libraries did a study this year, about all the Vermont libraries, and where each library falls. I can send that to you if you'd like
Okay,
to
that
see
would be
that.
helpful, yeah.
Yeah.
And from,
But yes, the libraries that we're comparing our budget to are absolutely the same size library, the same size town. We're one of the bigger libraries in the state, and we have one of the lower budgets in the state.
When you say bigger, you're talking square footage?
No, like town,
Oh, okay,
Size of
all right.
town.
the size of the town compared to the size of the library, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
Yep.
but Swanton is actually, by Vermont standards, a large town.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
qualify for any roll loans. I mean, grants, yeah.
and something that we've talked about in the past, a lot of these increases is for your part-time employees,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah,
So that they can retain them as well, that's part of what has been discussed with previous boards.
our part-time employees currently make less than McDonald's employees.
They
So
have benefits, so.
No, they're
No, our
part-time
part-time
employees, there are
employees
no
Yeah, but
benefits.
if they bring their children,
They
they
don't.
can't. They
Our
don't.
part-time employees,
They don't.
No.
But they could.
they could, but
But there, several of them are not, they're not, don't have children. There's one part-time employee that's been there for how long?
30 years.
30 years.
So
Makes
that was
less
done.
than,
And it's trying to give, them a wage as well as
Well, I certainly I can see where you're coming from, Abby, and I think, basically the library has been fairly active and it's providing a lot of services that people are utilizing. But you gotta keep a balance too. But I got a question back on this income side. So if you had $58,000 worth of income this year, what did you do with that money?
some of it's sitting in an account, well, a lot of it's sitting in an account.
So you haven't spent any.
We've spent some. All the grants have been spent, so 25,000, that's all spent.
All right, it's not showing up on the expenses for 2023 then. Because your total expenses for 2023 were $67,490. So actually your expenses were higher than that. If you use some of this income money.
Right.
It's not showing up in there.
How much reserve fund, Abby, do you have?
Well, we have a capital reserve fund that has 25,000 in it, but then we have another fund, like where the trust fund money goes, and that has maybe 30,000, I think. That's a
So,
estimate.
but that's the trust money that is parked there until you spend it? Or it
Yes.
just goes there?
Parked until we allocate it to something.
Okay, all right. So you've got roughly $55,000 in reserve to be spent?
No, like 40,000
Okay.
And that can be spent at the discretion of the library trustees.
with some restrictions.
Who put the restrictions on?
The trust.
The trust.
Trust.
Anything that's coming from the trust has to follow the trust restrictions.
That's why it's in its own account, correct?
Okay, so you do have a portion of this $58,000 left over,
Yes.
and you don't know exactly how much that is right now.
I don't off the top of my head, no.
Because I'm gonna make a suggestion here. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do that, if you really wanna do that salary, because, you know, it's beyond what we've done for everybody else here in the town, and everybody else in the town is probably not getting paid as much as some other towns too. You know, but we can't do everything all at once. You wanna, the trustees are gonna okay some money in there to make up the difference between the 3.7 that we've given and what you're asking for, so that doesn't have to be raised by this year's taxes. And I'm throwing that out there, okay, as a compromise. So that would drop what you're asking the town to raise on the payroll side.
Right.
We would go last year's salary by 3.7, and if you want what you're proposing here, you're gonna have to make up the difference out of that money you've got left over from this year.
Will the trust be able to
That's my
maintain
board.
that increase over a course of so many years?
But once we lock those salary increases in, restricting it
I
only
know,
for
it's
1
gonna
year,
be
because then
next year, yeah,
next year it's on the table,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was kinda asking.
I want you to know, I think the library does a great job, you really do. So, I mean,
Thank you.
don't take our discussion as something contrary to your performance.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, a decision's gonna have to be made. I believe because they are town employees, that we can set the increase. You don't think we can, Kathy?
Brian?
Because it's the way the library is governed under the
Yeah,
statute.
but they're town
You can
employees.
suggest, they're town employees, they fall under our guidelines, but the library trustees control that. We don't.
Well,
Right,
That's
right.
what I
Tell me.
understand, yeah, that's what would.
so they could come in with a 30% increase and we just have to sign off on it.
No, we just
Well,
wouldn't,
no,
we just
the
wouldn't.
taxpayers
Yeah.
ultimately have the decision
Right.
at the end of the day,
Right.
Oh, okay.
whether or not they're going to approve the budget or not.
Right.
But it's whatever, you know, if that's what the library trustees are putting forth to the taxpayers, then ultimately that decision is up to the taxpayers on whether or not they're going to approve that amount of money in the budget.
But even before it goes there, we have to give a nod that we support it.
I understand,
Yeah.
but it, you know,
Yeah.
Well, I understand what you're saying. Are you suggesting, Mr. Chair, that they come back with a solution to this salary issue? Or just,
Well, yeah, so, you know, trying to get a compromise here and keep things moving. And looking to minimize the impact on the taxpayers, because we got some serious issues to address here. And I don't wanna alienate people, I don't want people, you know, because I understand a lot of legitimate, hardworking people are struggling, and they're gonna be struggling more. And we have all these things we need to do, but we gotta find a way to make it affordable. And I keep looking at this 58,000, which isn't accounted for in the expenses you've listed here. And I think we should have at least a separate column that says where the income went. And then that would show how much you had left over, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we can send over what's in the.
No, I'm not accusing you of doing that illegal. That's not it, but it's just, you know, it makes it easier to
Right.
get a whole look at the
But
picture.
I mean, a huge chunk of that is grants, which is
Yeah, I know,
also.
25,000,
Right,
but that still leaves you 26, 27,000 that,
Right.
you know, and if you haven't spent it all,
and another, like this, the donations, the almost $5,000 there, that's all spent, that's all how we pay for summer camp. That's all gone
that's
as well.
fine, as long as it's shown somewhere of how that money gets spent.
Right,
Then we know how much is left over, because now it kinda looks like you've got a lot of money hanging around. And if you want more salary increases, then maybe you do some of that money, I'm just saying, you know,
Right.
you understand where I'm coming
Yeah.
from.
So are we gonna sit on this until the next meeting?
Well, I guess we're gonna have to, unless you guys wanna okay what they presented.
Well, the thing is, you have to look at this separately, because those wages go into our budget.
No, I
not
understand
in-
that.
They don't
Yeah.
end up in this budget.
I know,
So, this, you're approving basically their 70,900
Yeah.
that they need. And the salaries is a whole nother,
Yeah.
issue. The thing is too, is that if we're gonna do the 6.9% in our budget, the one that goes, because it's separate, then it's gonna be interesting accounting for them to paying for a part of their increase.
well,
Suggested by using the trust funds, correct? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, no, what I'm saying
No.
is that we have these, you have this presented this way, which isn't really a good way to present this. Basically, the salaries are something that, it's a whole different issue because it goes into a different budget. Their operating expenses that they ask for the money is one budget.
yeah,
And then the payroll, FICA, Medi, retirement, all of that is in the budget that the town does.
that's right.
So you're kind of looking at a portion, a small portion of this budget, salaries only in the budget that the town does in the town report, which then we factor in retirement, the FICA money and all that good stuff. So I'm just trying to, like, this is a whole different factor. It shouldn't even be on here for, I mean, a number we need, but it shouldn't be. The main thing you're talking about now is their money that they need for operating,
Which is this.
which is the 70,900.
Yeah, we're talking about that,
And the
but we're,
salaries, you'd have to approve the salaries, but that's in a whole different
That-
format.
Separate.
When you
It's
come
a
to
separate,
yeah,
budget that you do.
right.
right, when I come to the budget that
No,
I
what I was saying, if we multiplied the 144,000 by 3.7.
do. Right, I know what you're saying, then
Okay.
we're getting money from them
Then that's what we're gonna
to,
raise.
right, and then we're getting money for them
Yeah.
to,
They'd have to deposit that money in our account.
which is another account.
I know it's crazy, but, I'm just trying to find some way to.
Right, I understand your solution,
Yeah.
you've gotta look at it.
Yeah, I know, it's not as simple as.
It would've been
right.
easier if we would've, if
So-
it were presented in the way the budget was presented.
So we're
last year,
talking the
format that's in
70,000
the town
plus the
report.
154,260.
Two
Excuse me?
different things.
I know that, but we're talking, the 70,900 is an operating number.
Exactly.
And on top of that is 154,260 that comes out of the town.
Yeah,
It goes into the town portion of the budget item for the library.
Yeah, but it comes out of the town.
Right, well, it's voted on by the voters like anything else, and it's in our general fund budget, so you're talking two separate budgets.
I got that.
Two
I got that
different
part.
funds.
so you're looking at a net impact on the tax rate of 220 some odd thousand
Yeah,
dollars.
Yeah.
yeah.
A simpler way might be, but I don't know, you'd have to, is to leave this, to not fool around with the staff wages, but take it off what you're asking for the town's contribution. And you have that money left over.
Okay.
Simple, right? In the end, the taxpayer has the same effect.
Yeah.
But the total budget with the two isn't the 224 either, that's, you still have a whole bunch of stuff that's not included in this part.
What's
In the
that?
salary part.
And the salary part, because
That's
we have,
yeah, that's the
we have
insurance.
the maintenance,
and
the alliance, the elevator.
Oh, okay, that's not included
Is that for
in,
the town
No.
3.1?
Because that's stuff
3.7.
that she has to prepare for the town's portion of the library
Is that the
budget.
town report?
Because we own the building.
Of course.
now we're talking real money.
That's why we need a total number, the salaries, the operating costs, and then the portion we have to contribute.
For the
For the
building.
building.
Okay, that's right. It was-
And now we're gonna get upwards of probably 300.
Yeah, yeah.
So
alright,
this
yeah.
is the operating budget for last year, 2023.
For-
This is from last year, this is their operating
Yeah.
budget for the operation.
Yeah,
And this is our budget for just the salaries FICA, retirement, health insurance, which nobody takes, but
Yeah.
unemployment training, building
Yeah.
maintenance alliance, and these expenses.
Yeah.
Mine, so we're gonna,
Yeah.
that is actually $10,000 for that number.
Yeah, we've been pumping ARPA money into there.
Well, we've been using but that's not a year-to-date, that's just last year's budget. If
Yeah.
you saw the year-to-date,
Yeah.
it would not be close to that number, it'd be a lot higher. But we have been using ARPA funds for some of the repairs.
So the month, yeah, it's gonna be even more, you're right, I forgot about the building part. Well, still, if what I'm proposing is, we'll take it off there, but you don't even know how much money you have left over, that's out of that income side yet.
Right.
You need to find that out.
Yep.
And then, at least we would get something, and it would help them stay competitive, but we're gonna pay, it's gonna go up, but it would give us another year.
Yeah, and when we're on this, while we're tracking this, let's take a look at the salaries, the operating costs, and what we have to contribute for the building. I'd like to see that not
In
Some-
one number.
in one number. I mean, I know we're not gonna hold you to
Yeah.
our responsibilities, but when we start taking a look at running the library, we have to look at everything. Including the cost of ownership. No.
All right, this is, what do you think, Cody?
Yeah. It's a lot of information.
I mean, as far as this goes though, I mean,
Can you read my
I'm, this is what it costs for her to operate the library. I mean,
The whole thing is screwy.
I think it's very comparable to what was in the 2023 budget.
Yeah, it's up 5%, for operating, salary, staff and wages is up 6.9, which,
But that's not in that 5% number.
No.
no,
That's right.
5% is separate, that's their,
Yeah, I'm not even talking about this, I'm just talking about the operating budget.
well, do you wanna approve that operating budget? Because then,
Well, one of two things, if you're looking for them to lower that part of this, then you're not gonna, it's not gonna be the right operating budget you're even voting on. And Abby doesn't even know, she doesn't have that information to know whether it's even feasible or they can do it.
So then
So you're kind of doing,
There's a lot of information.
You know,
yeah, because we don't know how much money you really
who
have
helped you
left.
with that, Abby? Who helped you put that together and would know the numbers?
Becky.
Okay. And she couldn't be here tonight, so.
Why don't we table this until
Hmm.
the next meeting?
Get the rest of the information.
We might have to have a special meeting for budget.
Yes, we can have.
Because we can't keep
pull-
tabling
yeah.
to next year, because
Yeah.
we have a deadline in
Yeah,
January, and
yeah.
it's not just going to print, it's getting all the reports ready
Yeah.
for the town report, and we can't even do the general fund budget until we have these budgets.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna.
And I don't wanna be rushing budgets, it's the last minute.
No, but, I hate to, make decisions. I really would like to know how much money is left from your income from last year. Like I said, that should be,
So like your
you should come up
year-to-date-
with a way of reporting that.
It's just
So
this-
it's just here, every time you come here, it'll be
just
there.
come here to do it.
Very similar to the questions that you proposed to the rec department, it might also work well if you could do the same, or if anybody has questions, send them to Brian so she can send them to Becky, so we're not constantly doing the back and forth, they can get all the questions in one spot to be prepared with all of these numbers when we come back.
Can
And
I ask
then-
a question? Are you guys looking to fund the repairs all in one fell swoop, so to speak, in 2024?
It all depends how much it is.
How much it is.
Or bond it or something like that, do a small bond and then pay for it over time? Because technically what we're talking about is upgrading the thermal envelope, and we're talking about energy improvement, so in theory, if you took out a small bond over 20 years and say if it was, he didn't add up to 150 for whatever he needs to do to change things, either move ductwork downstairs, increase thermal envelope, do whatever. It could be recaptured probably over time versus just trying to pay for it lump sum. And there might even be some grants available along the way to help with it as well. But if you're trying to get a figure out of LAS before you have to put budgets together for how much this might cost, I doubt that probably will be.
This isn't gonna be an annual, this is not gonna be ready for this year's budget, I don't think.
Yeah, because you gotta put it down.
Well, we can't let this thing drag on, Steve.
No, I realize that. No, I mean,
whatever-
we're gonna take care of it,
Yeah.
but it may not be ready for this year.
For whatever they gotta propose over there to do for a solution, you don't even know what that is yet, right? Versus
Well, I got a pretty good
quotes.
idea. There's two solutions.
Two solutions?
There's the half close enough solution and there's a doing it right solution. Well, and you know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about. It's been-
And if we're gonna do it right.
Do it right for 15 years.
Yeah.
And as far as part of that rolling into basement restoration as well, right? Got that issue to deal with as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that'll be, phase 1 is gonna happen on January 10th.
Yes, that's already scheduled in
Yeah,
there.
and then, once that's done, then we rip up the old floor and put in a new floor.
Well, I know you're coming from, Kathy. Putting a lot of pressure on you.
Well, no, it's not that, it's just,
I know,
I'm just letting you know, there's a time frame.
Yeah.
We may have to do special meetings during the day or something to get this finished up.
So,
Well, I know next
Or
week
at
is
least
a
get it
short
in
week
Rebecca
here.
To talk with Brian and get some answers.
What's the schedule again for next week?
the office is only open on
Wednesday.
Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay. What about everybody else next week? 'Cause maybe if you can get together and try to get something back for here, maybe we could do a couple hours or an hour during, Wednesday or Thursday. You know, come in at, noontime or something, take a look at these new numbers and say, okay, well, when's the highway, we'd have a lot of highway numbers by then too, wouldn't we? Cause we're getting together this week, right? So tomorrow?
My board is gonna have to vote on this too before we can present it, so that will depend on if my board can meet before next Wednesday as well.
Well, they understand the.
Oh, absolutely.
Tell them that, and,
Tell them that.
Do
Why
my
don't you
best.
guys try to coordinate it, and we'll see if we can attend. Simple as that.
we'd really like to do something next week.
Well, it'd be nice if Rebecca could get in touch with Brian and answer those questions about whether they can or can't do anything, and then
Right.
that's gonna answer the questions what we
Right.
can and can't do. Or what can and can't.
Now, at least find out how much income money is left over. And our recommendation is that be used to reduce your operating budget to help us out.
Okay, I will meet with Becky tomorrow and
And that's a pretty, that's what I think is gonna end up.
Right, yeah.
I mean, we're not excited about what you're asking for in salaries because it's more than we've done for the other employees. But I guess just take a poll right now, if we were able to get some reduction in the operating budget, would everybody approve
The salaries,
the salaries?
I wouldn't.
That would,
You would?
I would.
just for the simple fact, I mean, what they contribute to the community. Not saying that any other department doesn't contribute that, but what I heard a few times was the discussion with the past boards was that this has been the plan all along,
Correct.
and we would be the first board to say, no, we're not doing that. Where those past boards have made that commitment. So, what did I say something?
No, you said you're fine. What you're saying is actual.
Yeah, so I just feel like maybe we should hold up to even the past board's agreements.
Considering you can find a little bit of money in your operating from leftover income.
Got a question for that?
Yes, Heather.
And I have to say to the public, just to say that we have to value our employees because, I mean, even in town, I've heard that some of the small businesses are having to cut their hours because they can't get the help. And because they're taking jobs that pay more right now because of the economy. And we gotta at least bring them up to close to average. I think is what you were requesting. So it's not even above average that she's kind of requesting. I think that's kind of fair, coming from what I hear. But,
Well-
and we're reducing some of the operating costs to compensate something on that would be very helpful.
Do you think there's been
Thank
any
you.
carryover, Abby, at all?
Very little. There will be carryover from, because we still haven't had the audit, so that will carry over. Most things are pretty close though to spent or over. Most things are over.
All right, talk to Becky, have her get together with Brian and try to get those numbers. It looks like it won't be a unanimous decision, but I think you will have a majority. But it's gonna be a lot easier to find some room in that operating budget,
Okay.
especially if you got money left over. And it looks like you do.
Just one more point to make with the money left over, but if we take from that, that's gonna take away from the building repair money that we have
I know.
in the end.
But we're gonna be looking for the trust money to help compensate that, and then David just brought up a good thing, we don't know what the final number is. This may not be realistic to expect that we're gonna be able to find the money everywhere, so we may have to take a different approach to doing it. And that depends on what kind of, what the cost is and what is gonna be the best long-term solution to that issue of icing. And that is something that has to be addressed.
Absolutely.
All right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, where's my sheet? All right, now we get to go to assist.
Resolution.
Oh, resolution for the credit line.
Sign one for the line of credit, and then, we had to come, Michelle sent me back that we needed to update a couple, because the, rec department's been moving their accounts, and so we basically, the authority level is here, which is basically just, Tanya, the girl can borrow money, Tanya and I can make deposits and do the bank accounts.
Now,
Brooke can borrow money.
He signs our line of credit.
we've already approved all this, the board is.
Right, it's just
okay,
they wanted
to
an
get the
updated
signature.
resolution, just signatures on it.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, don't be signing over on mine.
Okay.
Today is
Double check to make sure it's not sticking them together again.
On page 2.
Earl,
What?
doing it again.
Where's that stamp?
That's on the
Stamp's not gonna help you not sticking together.
So now we can move on to the store, rescue. Rescue.
my gosh. You need to sign there.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. There, I got a copy of the proposed budget for you guys.
And there.
Thank you. Here, I'll hand it to him.
Not here.
No. Oh, that's what Betsy got it. No.
Okay.
Got another one, somebody. I need
Let's use it for your notes. I just want to.
You don't,
Nope.
Nope, not you.
Nope,
Yeah.
he just signs on the bottom.
Yep. Well, you can go ahead and give us an overview.
So I'll just give you a little overview. It's been another busy year. We're gonna likely hit 1,700 calls again this year. We're at 1,659 today. A lot of mutual aid calls to surrounding communities. Around 154 right now.
For the year,
154 mutual aid calls, yep, to other towns. Yeah.
well, I guess, I don't know, we can have this discussion afterwards or now. There seems to be some kind of concerns over mutual aid and how it affects the budget, and how it affects what you can provide here? And is there any way that the other communities could contribute to your budget if they're depending on you that much?
That is actually something we just started talking about, because we heard Fairfax Rescue had built Cambridge for a while, providing, because they were doing a lot of mutual aid for them. Because we've been doing a lot. Since mid-2021, our number increased over 500%, the number of mutual aid calls.
Yeah, the whole thing.
So that is something we have to look at. The way that we do have countywide mutual aid agreements, which might kind of throw a kind of a fork into things, because there's no actual like monetary value tied in there, so I don't know how that would work. But we are going to talk to actually Fairfax and see how they went about it, and to see if we can do the same thing, because we're responding outside of our area quite a bit.
Yeah, and people are concerned about maybe the quality of service here because of that, or the impact on the.
It definitely has a trickle-down effect for sure on the entire EMS community as a whole. I mean, the last couple of years we've started responding to places we have never in the past, such as we've been as far as Richford, Berkshire, we've even been to North Hero. It's been, the EMS system has definitely been strained, so.
What's the percentage of mutual versus Swanton?
Oh boy, I would have to add that up. I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head.
That's almost 5 calls a day for 365 days a year.
Yep.
Those are busy.
Yeah. Let's see here. So yeah, as far as that goes, we are gonna look into that. I'm not sure what will happen with that, but.
Well, we're going to keep updated on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because we have residents that are bringing up concerns about this, and, you know, I know you guys are you got a good reputation. There's a feeling that you might be getting taken advantage of.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
And that needs to get, because I know you got some future building plans, and my God, I don't want you to talk about that, but,
hang in there.
I don't think he does either.
so, you know, that's, as far as the way I'm thinking is that's income that you're leaving on the table.
Correct. It is. Because we're able to bill for the patient, but not really get the overhead covered, like, with the responding into their town, so. Yeah, it's something we're talking about, you know. Let me see here. Overall on our budget, I'll just be absolutely transparent, put it right out there. We have a sizable increase this year by about $30,000, which is I think 15.3%. However, I would like to point out that we're still less than where we were at even 7 and 8 years ago. So I feel that we are still being quite fiscally responsible. The reason for that increase is we are now midnight to 6 a.m. We used to do sleep time. That's been a deterrent for help, and then the Department of Labor has kind of been questioning that. So we're bumping everybody up to minimum wage from midnight to 6 a.m. and then they get their regular hourly rate from 6 a.m. to midnight. So there's an increase there for payroll. We are moving our dispatching back to St. Albans Central. In 2017, we went with Middlebury Regional EMS because they were saving us $30,000 in Swanton alone. Unfortunately, their price has gone up. Their service is absolutely amazing, but their price, unfortunately, has slowly increased. And with St. Albans growing, they were able to decrease what they're asking us. They're decreasing what they've asked in the past. It's still a net increase, but it kind of, the benefit of being under one roof is kind of outweighed by that. It's $8,000 more than what Middlebury had offered, so the savings isn't there like it used to be.
And that's for dispatch service.
Yeah, yep. And then the other piece is the majority of our board has voted to outsource our billing. So we brought billing in-house in 2017, and they would like to outsource that again. And that is an increase of about $20,000 as well. So. We are able to offset though with our billings received because Medicaid has actually gone up and matched Medicare rates, which still isn't amazing, but it's still a sizable increase. The second most insurance that we run into is Medicaid. So those billing reimbursements we predict those will go
Josh, what did you say the increase was, 15%?
15.3%.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And on the last page, you can see where I got the current year and then what we requested last year. So. And then as far as, did you want me to talk about the potential building or not yet?
I think you should.
No, okay. I didn't know if you wanted me to start talking yet about it or if you're still reviewing.
Well, there's nothing I've seen in this budget that shows anything towards that building or towards the land purchase.
Correct. So what we're doing is we're taking the money, our closing is the 28th of December. We're taking that money out of our savings. And we do not have any building plans set for 2024 because we are going to look for grant funding and maybe do some type of donation campaign because we don't want to go and ask for a whole lot of money. We want to see if we can cover most of it with grants. Because we were not included in the public safety building. And we decided to purchase this piece of land. It was offered to us at a really good price. I feel like even if the plans fell through, we can easily turn that around and make money off of it. So we wanted to buy it when we could for the price. We got it for $30,000, two-thirds
You
of
did
an
a
acre.
nice job cleaning it, cleaning it up.
I gotta give the village credit for that. They did a great job. That
It was not pleasant to look at, so you did a good job.
Yeah, so we closed on that on the 28th, and then we started kind of looking at different options and go from there. So.
See, your building is up significantly.
Yep, how much we expect to bring in, and again, that's based on the increase in Medicaid rates.
And that's
revenue.
That's
Yeah.
already affected because you're up almost 500,000 this year compared to 346 from last year.
Yep.
And of course, if you can find, and I really need to try to get some extra income from all them calls you are making.
Yeah, like I said, we can build a patient, but as far as like the overhead portion of that, responding into those communities with no tax base from that.
What is it in this region? What else is there for ambulance services?
Auburn, Amcare, Enosburg, Fairfax.
And Amcare is a private service?
Yeah, we're a private, non-profit, they're private for-profit. They were bought out in mid-21 by a company out of Maryland.
And you're actually covering some of their calls?
Correct.
That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. What are they doing?
I gotta be politically appropriate here.
That's awesome.
There's,
I think that sums it up.
there's some.
Well, I mean,
They're concerned citizens, okay? And
there's-
I'm asking the
I'd say
question.
some operational issues there, and we've even picked up some of their employees. Enosburg has picked up some of their employees, and I think it's kind of an operational management concern.
Are the communities that they're serving, are they concerned about?
That, I don't know, I would assume so. It's definitely gotten out there. It's definitely well known.
Because
I mean, it's impacted all of us, Fairfax, actually Milton has come into St. Albans before. It's impacted Fairfax, Enosburg, all of us. So.
Because the feeling is if you gotta pick up all that extra work, then the other county should be paying it.
Absolutely, I don't disagree there. And like I said, we're gonna start looking at it, so.
Can I ask a question? I got basically two questions.
Yes.
The parent company of Ancare is huge.
Yes,
no?
correct.
It's a huge corporate entity. I heard like 2,500 ambulances on the road.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So they're going they're probably going, taking calls for service that will give the ultimate amount of money to them. Patient transfers.
That's a fair statement. Yeah, that's a fair statement.
You know, if somebody needs to go from,
St. Albans to Burlington?
no, even further than that.
Boston.
Boston, New York, Montreal to New York. You know,
They're very
that's big
focused
money.
on interfacility transfers.
Yeah. So that's, I think, where,
So if they refuse to take a transfer, do they look to you, Josh?
Yep, they do. And what we do was, so we kind of have a limit. So we'll go to Burlington pretty much, you know, anytime we'll go to Burlington. But as far as at much further past that, we have requirements where we have to bring in a whole other crew because we wanna make sure our community is covered.
Do we get compensated fairly for that?
Those transfers, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
The longer distance ones they are, I mean, there is money in it, and that's kind of what they focused on, so.
And my other question is, your dispatching, when's that start, January 1st?
Yes, January 1st. Well, actually, I think technically the 2nd, but yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So basically, Swanton P.E.G goes January 1st to Central.
Oh, do they? I heard they were gonna switch, but
I'm not sure if it's January 1st or July 1st, I think it's January 1st. So basically, the whole operations are gonna be there.
Exactly, all under one roof. And like I said, the savings isn't there anymore. Middlebury's amazing. They absolutely are. They did a great thing for us for a long time, and but the savings it's not there anymore. So.
Josh, that 15.1%, 15.3% sounds high. And
It does, yeah.
But are there 2 or 3 drivers on here that are causing that to be up there?
Say what?
Are there 2 or 3 expenses that are driving that up there?
Primarily, yeah. So primarily, again, it's that minimum wage from midnight to 6 a.m. and the outsourcing of billing. That's kind of the biggest drivers behind that.
Okay, all right, thanks. That kind of brings it into perspective that way.
Absolutely.
What was the increase for the maintenance and janitorial?
Oh, that's a good question here. So the maintenance and janitorial, that covers everything from vehicle maintenance to building maintenance to.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so vehicle maintenance, we've seen a rise in that lately, obviously as the trucks age.
Yeah.
We do have a replacement plan. Yeah, prices of everything are going up unfortunately, and yeah, maintenance is definitely one of those.
So you should end up with a surplus.
We should. We usually budget, for zero
Yeah.
for zero. But
Well, does that surplus go into a separate fund afterwards? Or
So
you
we
keeping
put it-
for
we put it into
ambulance replacement?
yes, we put it into, well, we just put it into a savings, but it's there for the ambulance replacement or other equipment.
So your surplus is included in the deposit structure of 169,232?
Yeah, that's what we have in our accounts right now, yeah. So where it says live oak, that's our savings.
Oh, okay, all right.
Oh,
Okay,
So that's actually one thing we switched over to this year was a high yield savings account.
good.
Cause we were only getting like $200 and now we've already made 6,000 since March, so, in interest, so.
well, that was a good switch.
Yes, yep.
Well, what do you guys, budget is probably reasonable. I know there are some increases there.
I
But
think the increases are out of
I think
control of.
they do a tremendous job. I would vote in favor of this budget and publicly say thank you for what you do.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
But
We appreciate that.
with the caveat that we've got to find out a better way of these, these mutual aid things.
Absolutely.
It looks like it's getting worse every year, even what you're saying.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. The other thing too is if you guys just wanna check in, we don't mind having like quarterly meetings with you guys if you want, or whatever you want, we're more than happy to.
Well, I'd like to follow, when you get some more information on this mutual aid thing and what's going on, or if you hear anything else going on with some other provider that could affect,
Gotcha.
we'd certainly like to be aware of those things,
I'd rather see you meet here than
Yeah.
any of our homes.
I know, Alberg, yeah, that's true. I got my hats off to Alberg. I mean, it was a substantial increase, but they went ahead and they're fully paid ambulance service now. Because we were responding to a lot of mutual aid there too, but they actually asked us to propose a contract, but they ended up fully paying their ambulance service. So
Now, you're a totally separate entity outside of the town and the village.
yep, we're a private nonprofit.
And you're part of the municipality, so you're out here on your own.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You have a board?
Yes, we do. Yep.
Okay.
Well, is there any more questions or comments?
No.
Okay. And this is what you want in the town report?
Yeah. Well, I'll get once the full year's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, that request is accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, you get the final
Yeah.
thing, but this side, this yellow side
Yep.
is not gonna change.
That should not change. Nope.
Okay.
All right.
Is there a There was a motion made.
I made the
right?
motion.
Oh, second.
And vote, because Kathy will come back.
Okay, that's right, all right. Motion been made and seconded to approve, or to include the Missisquoi Valley Rescue proposed 2024 budget in our town report and be voted on by the voters. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you for everything you do.
Yeah,
No problem.
yeah.
And I will definitely get back to you about that.
Yeah.
Got an awesome crew.
Okay.
Thank you. They are good.
Saved my life.
Have a good night, guys.
See ya.
Okay. Discussion of date, town meeting, informational meeting.
Okay. That's just so that we can be in sync with the school district, because last year they were both on the same night.
Yeah.
So, I haven't talked with the village yet, but we have in the past done it jointly.
Yeah.
If you wanna do that again.
Well, I'm hoping we can still do it again, but you never know.
And so, I think we could just have it, I'll check with what the school is gonna do, but, if we had it on a Monday night, and they have their meeting on a Tuesday night, would that work?
Yeah, what do you got any thoughts on that yourself? Or is Wednesday?
No, well, let me look in the time frame. There's a number of days.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got a
let me-
number of
Oh, I
days.
see,
to-
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Let me look at the,
Yeah.
we can talk about that.
We can talk
Come
about
up
it,
with a
but
date.
I just wanted to get a feeling from you if you had any, preference one day or over
Would this be in
another.
January or
That
February?
would be February.
Yeah,
Last
I
town
won't be
meeting.
here, but it's okay.
So what we'll do is then I'll contact the village, well, Kathy will, now I will talk, and I'll
Yeah.
contact the village, and then I'll contact the school and tell them, well, this is what, the date we're gonna do, so everybody's on the same wavelength.
Yeah, you may have to alter that date.
Yeah.
I just assume they're gonna do it on the Tuesday before,
Yeah,
cause that's normal for them.
that's normal, yeah.
So,
So the Tuesday
Monday
before,
would-
Monday would be all right,
but-
Wednesday,
yeah.
but, okay.
find out what's
Yeah,
legal.
we'll see
not
what's legal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our election calendar.
All right, now we're gonna move on to, 2024 town meeting and the positions, elected positions. And we have
The list.
the list of
I'll share.
I'll give it up. All right, as usual, we have to elect a town moderator every year.
That's right.
And they have to have a position for that, right?
Yep.
To get off, because everything's Australian ballot, so.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Anybody in the community that interested in running for the town moderator position can get a petition form here at the town clerk's office. We have a select person for a 3-year term. And whose term is that? Is that,
Yours or?
really, you can't do 3 years twice?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, it can? I thought they were staggered.
Where are you? Select board. Let's see. Oh, that's not your office, that's your information.
I know it's up this year, but I don't know what the term would be for my position.
Okay, so Earl Forge is a 3-year term,
Again.
again.
Okay.
And the 2-year term is Nicole.
Alright, okay, so go, and then, alright, so I just want to say that I do intend on running again. And I don't want anybody to take that to scare them from running. I think especially this year more than ever, we need a lot of discussion in this community, and contested positions create discussion. And there's a lot of things going on in this town, a lot of very important decisions are gonna be made that are gonna affect the community's future for sure, and if there's someone out there that's more qualified and do a better job than me, and I'm sure there is, I'd like to see him step forward and we could have a really good discussion. The 2-year term is Nicole, and
I am also running again, but like Earl said, I definitely encourage anybody to run.
yeah, because if we're gonna make the proper decisions, we need more
Well, we
community
need continuity,
involvement. Yeah.
we really do.
Yeah. The third select board position is the one that Ed White resigned from. We will be appointing someone at our next meeting, right? That's
Yeah,
the schedule
that's
right now.
yeah.
Now, that individual will have to run again, or someone else, whoever wants to step forward, and once again, if there's people out there that are interested in stepping forward, please do. They can get a petition here for that position, and that would be only for a 1-year term, and then they'd have to run again. That's just to fill that, what's left out. Trustee of Public Money, we have a 3-year term, and we do have one person running for that. Lister, another very important position, and is somebody's term up?
David Horton.
David Horton. We had to, okay, we'll get down to that next. So and this is a very important job in this town, and it's gonna get increasingly, because of reappraisal and the changes in the state and what they might require. And it's a very technical, you have to be quite knowledgeable in how the whole thing works, so.
Kevin Nichols.
Yeah.
Like I said, the lister we appointed this year will also have to run.
Yes, that's the next position. There's another 1-year unexpired term when Jim Pack retired, that we appointed a lister until town meeting time, so there will be 2 lister positions on the ballot. Auditor, 3-year term, I don't, do we have anybody that does that, right?
Joyce Ballard.
Okay, and does she plan on running again?
Yes.
Who's the current lister that we appointed on an interim basis?
Kevin Nichols.
Kevin Nichols.
I couldn't think of his name, thanks.
Cemetery Commissioner, 5-year term. Yes, some cemetery commissioners live longer than select persons, because their terms are longer, but.
I hope so.
Has anybody shown any interest in that? Because,
Has John pulled his petition, or you know?
Yeah, he's got a petition going.
No, he's posted his position,
Yeah.
Oh,
his
yeah.
petition.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Is he running for
Yeah.
5-year, John?
John's running for 5 years.
Who?
Is that the one he took?
I can't pronounce his last name.
Polish, yeah.
Yeah, he took the 5-year.
You did?
Yeah.
and once again, cemetery commissioners can have some very exciting meetings. Isn't that true, Brian?
Yeah.
We don't have many meetings, but we have exciting ones.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of work done in the cemetery this year, and we got some more to do next year, so.
Yeah, one coming up next month, I think, yeah.
And then there's another cemetery commissioner's position, and that's a 4-year unexpired term, so somebody must have resigned from the board, is that what happened?
Yeah, that was,
That's you, Cody, right?
I don't
You
know.
have to run again?
Do I? I haven't heard anything, so.
You have I think your petition for it is in the other room,
Oh,
actually.
so it's me.
He's the 4-year?
Yeah, 4 years.
yeah,
Perfect. And I plan on running again.
There's also a library trustee, one position there for a 5-year term.
Richard Callahan, you believe is running again.
he is.
But if anybody, and there's a lot of things going on at the library, we've got a lot of work to do there. Anybody that thinks they can, offer something, step forward, even though someone else is running, because, it just makes things better, the more people participate. Collector of delinquent taxes, we have the 1-year term, and that's something that's on every year.
And then Siobhan has a question.
Oh, Siobhan? Yes.
Hi, everybody. Sorry I can't be there. I have a bit of a cough. I just figured it would be best. I just wanted to speak for a second on the appointed position and then March, but I am intending to run for the appointment as well as the seat in March, and I'm not speaking for Dan, but I want to get the information out there. Dan Hazard is also planning on running. And like you said, Earl, I also encourage everybody that, more opportunity is how I feel, the more options it, gets the information out there and the people in as well. And I'm gonna be creating some tutorials on like how to register the vote and the stuff around it. As well as, putting if whoever wants to, I just wanna say, wants to be included, because I told Dan that I would announce, when I make an editorial, would he like to be in on it, and he's great with communication, so we're gonna do that. I don't know who else has possibly signed up for that position, so I don't wanna, jump ahead or assume, but, other than that, yeah, I just wanna say also, I really want the public to come out and get involved, and, and the more the merrier, pretty much. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Nick has a question.
Yeah, and I just want to put out, I put my name in for the position. I haven't decided on running yet in March. We'll see how the appointment goes.
Okay,
I didn't wanna say anything, Nick.
well, you're getting, how many resumes or
Two.
letters have been, two so far? Only 2 letters are interested for getting appointed.
Right,
And those are due back on the 28th, correct?
28th,
For anybody who's
yeah.
interested.
Yeah.
that's right.
So a letter of interest and a resume.
I got Nick's this afternoon, or today,
Yeah.
and, so,
All right.
two counting Nick's, yeah.
So I just encourage people to get involved. It's a big help. And Swanton wants Swanton to be the kind of community that you're proud to live in, and we want to make it better. You're gonna have to help us, and you're gonna have to get involved. So, now we're going on to community and economic development?
No,
No? Oh, that's right, you forgot, we got
We
that
got-
one down here, yep.
the historical society.
Yeah, it's the historical society.
She's been very.
Hi. Well, thank you for having me, guys. I'm here to represent some of the Swanton Historical Society. I wanted to just put it out there for everybody that we are ran all by volunteers. We're dedicated to preserving Swanton's history through memorabilia, artifacts, oral history, photos, buildings, and recordings. So we cover a lot. And we previously rescued the Swanton train depot through volunteers' determination and to preserve its charm and value. And we greatly appreciate the town's taking over and helping us keep up that building to where it's beautiful today. And I appreciate the lights that were put on, the Christmas lights and everything. It looks wonderful, especially that it's positioned right across from the rail trail. And that that metal bridge is also something that we were involved in for preserving and giving some more charm to our town. And we also have, I'm not sure if you're aware, we have 2 other structures. We have the toll house that was rescued from Alberg Railroad Toll House, and we had just done some extensive work on that by some generous donations. We did those repairs just in the nick of time, really, for what needed to be done. We also have a caboose that was donated that's on the property, and we are probably going to have some future restoration to that as well. And also on the property is the switch for this, the switch
Turntable,
turntable. Yes,
roundhouse or whatever.
roundhouse there. Yep. And let's see. Currently, we have been seeking. We are in the library's basement as our area of preserving our history right now, and we had been seeking a possible new home, and it has been presented to us by David Horton, the Roy Insurance Building in town, for purchase for the Swanton Historical Society's use. It is, I have permission to share that the price is $124,000, That's 50% of what it was appraised at. I really do think this is an amazing opportunity to acquire a significantly historic building in the center of town at a very reasonable price. I think it would be an asset to the community, economically as well as culturally. And have any questions for me on?
So are you asking the town to provide the 124?
Yes, we do have since we run all on volunteer, when I do out some of the expenses, we probably go negative about $1,600 to probably $2,000 a year.
On that?
Just
particular
us,
building?
well,
Or
no,
everything?
just our running expense, our operating expenses, just not including any projects like the toll house or working on the caboose or anything else like that. We just our regular computer administration. We do sell some books. We do reimburse some of our volunteers for gas and any kind of seasonal items, that we do. We do get some income from memberships, about $100 a month, donations around $100 a month, and book sales around $40 a month on average. We will get that occasional wonderful donor that comes in, and we did get a donor, the Taylor brothers, that gifted us around $20,000 to repair the toll house, and it's running close to that. It will be finalized this month. We had a lot of fascia work to be done, water damage, restoration inside, that kind of thing's going on. We're looking at new computer, we need some security systems, and we do have a small savings that have been gifted over time that we do pull from or keep as an investment.
How much is in that, Heather?
Around $70,000 to $80,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is it now? Is it invested? Or?
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay.
I think in TD.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's TV.
So you're getting better than the $200 a year that we heard earlier.
Oh, yes. I
I'm
don't
just
include
kidding.
that. Necessarily in our operating expenses. We, like you said, since we're all volunteer, nobody's on the books. We're not really. That's pretty much what we have. Is that to sustain the buildings that we have already, and any other operating expenses that come up over the next 10, 20, 30 years, as of right now. I am going to be exploring a lot of grants, which have not been done for quite a while, since the depot.
Heather, you're gonna explore grants for the purchase of the property?
There aren't grants really for the purchase of property, but there are grants for restoration, bringing to code, security, anything like that, roof, things like that. There are grants for that as well.
Okay.
I also want to say that we also do events, even out of the depot right now, which is exploring Native America, and we have our Railroad Christmas coming up to the public. And I was really hoping that this falls right in the line of what was right in our goals, 10.1, to protect the historic qualities of Swanton Village as a traditional New England settlement and recognize that these resources contribute to the town's economic well-being. It's right in the center of town, high visibility. It's something that everybody kind of passes by every day, and it could be really a charming centerpiece for the town of Swanton, Village of Swanton.
Have you ever considered doing something down at the South River Street? Adding on to that building or anything like that?
We were looking for something more historical value. in preservation.
Okay,
We could add new things, but if you look at a lot of historical societies across Vermont, they're old schoolhouses, they are old churches, some of the first log cabins in the community, things like that, that kind of brings the history
okay.
alive more for people. Yeah, and this is amazing. This was originally built in 1820s and then added on in the 1920s onto the back, and it has a huge vault in there.
Which is probably a liability.
No, we talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about securing it
Yeah.
and making it,
Or taking it out.
no, not taking it out, but securing the door
Yeah.
so that it cannot be moved by the public.
And somebody get their hand caught in the door.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I worked there for 3 years. I started there as a part-time teller.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so I know how the building is, and it's absolutely not ADA compatible. I mean,
All right.
you've got these little alleyways to get you down cellar, and the
Yeah.
bathrooms are about this wide, maybe there's only one in the whole building, and, I mean, it's a nice old building, but, now, how about parking?
Oh, that has been looked at creatively. The first response is maybe looking into maybe approaching Ace Hardware with Gordon about leasing 4 or 5 spots and making them handicap accessible. But along with this building is the right-of-way right next to it. I only have a couple photos, but you could see that there's a right-of-way right along here that maybe we could look at some alternatives to, that it's being used right now with the apartment building behind it.
Yeah.
And maybe that apartment building could be accessed behind the Ace Hardware. There is a road there that I think Brian and I
Yeah.
had seen. And maybe leaves that open for handicap access right up to the building.
Nick in the back, and he's got his hand up.
Yeah, there's like 6 or 7 parking spots near the chamber building that is right next to the Roy Insurance Building that
Yeah, it's in the
can't be
packet.
used for Ace that
It's in
much
your packet.
because it's nowhere near Ace.
Right.
And the chamber doesn't use the spaces that much, so there's parking there.
And it's also been proposed by the village, when I talked to them about this building for us, that maybe there is a possibility of combining some of the Chamber of Commerce with the Swanton Historical Society there, and maybe clearing out the space where that building is for more additional parking.
Yeah, it seems like something that should be seriously considered.
Yeah, for the
Because,
flow.
you know, it just improves the whole parking in the downtown area, along with what the village is proposing to do on the other side of
Exactly.
Merchant Roll. That kind of makes sense. And maybe, I don't know what kind of funding the chamber has, but maybe they could be, the purchase price certainly would be almost too much to give up if we were gonna decide to do this at $124,000 in the middle of the village, but operating this, the future is how that is going to be accomplished.
I'd like to know, maybe you've looked at this already, Heather.
Yes.
What is it gonna cost to make this thing ADA compliant? I mean, the ramp's gonna have to start probably over here to get in there.
They do have lifts now.
I
that-
realize, yeah, so that's how you.
External lifts that you can do it
Yeah.
from the outside, and, we would have to probably cut into some of that cement and
Yeah,
and
and
make
there's
it
a
more
little, there's some
accessible.
land in the back of there, what, about 20 feet?
Yes, there's actually a lot
Yeah.
Yeah, the building.
back there, you can see. It's actually in this picture as well. There's a vacant lot back
Yeah.
there. I don't know if you
Art
can see
Ledoux
that.
on that one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And it
that-
burned down in the big fire.
you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking right here.
Yes, yes. There's a vacant lot there. I don't know if that could be creatively looked at.
Sure,
um,
yeah.
for accessing the building as well. I did have Kevin
You wanna see that, Gordon?
No.
Nichols' home inspection has gone through. I just got this last night.
Yep.
And, he is very thorough. He's got pictures, everything through here. and I can provide it digitally or maybe online to everybody to see. I consider this a blueprint of what needs to be addressed, for sure. It is an old building, and any kind of preservation you're going to do, it's going to have a list to do. And that's why I looked also into the grants of what they do cover. And they specifically do cover bringing things up to code and safe, especially since it's such a central building to our community. And having public access to it is imperative.
How much room is there to use to move your artifacts in and stuff? Because again, it's a rather one.
I'm not sure on the square footage, but there's more room than the basement of
Yes,
the library for
I know,
sure.
yeah.
And there's the upper level, which would be great for presentation and display cases. And then there's a lower level that would be great for us to have our administration and possible meeting room down there that could be used even for like the Chamber of Commerce to meet, business groups to meet, as well as that. As long as we can have the artifacts secure up above.
Well, the windows are already wired. So.
I know, it is a bank. And it did survive the Swanton fires.
Yep.
And it's a dry building, It's been well maintained by Mr. Horton. It's been heated and cooled all these years, even though it's been empty, for sure. But, it's been used as an insurance building before, so it's got the older electrical and some little funky things going on here and there, but it's definitely worth saving and preserving.
So do you have a specific request?
Yes. I'm looking for help to purchase the building, the $124,000. We would like to go into partnership on this building. We run all volunteer. We don't have a big income, but we would like to look in grant writing and try to cover getting to this building to be a showcase.
Do you have a P&S with Mr. Horton right now? Purchase and sales agreement?
I don't. We are in the process of putting a deposit with him.
Okay. Is he willing to wait for his money until you secure some grants, or?
Yes.
He is, okay.
Yes, that was one of the contingencies of it, is we are looking at financing and how we could possibly finance it and keep on to it.
So he's not urgently pushing you into a decision, or?
No, he is probably just as passionate about saving this building as we are. It has a lot of memories. I mean, I just to get a tour through it was amazing. The painting on the wall in the office there, the tin ceilings, the vaults, of course, the marble that's in there. A lot speaks for Swanton's history, and it's like walking into a little time capsule, a bit of even pre-fires of Swanton, which is really nice to see.
Now, if the town were to help purchase it, whom would cover the operating costs? As you say, you're all volunteer and you're not generating revenue. Would it be the responsibility of the town to take on those operating costs?
We are asking that it be as the same as the train depot, yes. Yeah. But we would be taking on possibly as well the Chamber of Commerce. So maybe there could be some combinations here that maybe could be beneficial for everyone on it. And I do have, Mr. Horton did provide some costs of utilities last year of just, he did not use any water, but just give an idea if you'd like to see of what last year's just utilities were, 2022.
There's extras.
And do you also have our operating costs for For the Swanton Historical, yes. We're definitely a shoestring community here, but, you know, we've been here a long time and would really like to have something sustaining in the community that can be enjoyed by all.
Has the society discussed the possibility of a major fundraising effort to come up with the funding to purchase this sort of?
We are looking at everything, yes, right now. All possibilities, for sure. It's irreplaceable kind of building.
Yeah.
Irreplaceable.
Yeah, it's, location, should be a concern, and even though right now with Mr. Horton still owning it, it's not an issue, but we don't know what's gonna happen in the future, and if you look across the street, there's some issues there that I hate to see that building fall in that kind of disrepair. I guess you'd have to find out, you know, how realistic is it gonna be to get grant funding to get this put together?
Okay.
Okay, and then I don't know about this report.
You
I
mean
think
as,
no, not has a purchase, let's forget,
Right.
I mean, you got all the inside,
As
you
repair.
got the ADA and all the electrical, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I suppose some of that's in that report.
yes, it is. Like the Paul Brun Historic Revitalization Grant. Paul Brun was, is one who helped us with the train depot
Yeah.
and restoration. They do, examples of work right off of their sites are roof repair or replacement, structural repairs, facade, window, and door restoration or repair, code compliance work, climate resiliency improvements, and they do in increments of 50 to 100,000 in grants.
But there must be some other ones out there too, I don't know if that's gonna be enough.
Right, there is another one.
Preservation Trust of Vermont has grants, there's other grants put on by the Agency of Commerce specifically for historic preservation as well. Some have matches, some are looking for in-kind community support. I know with some of the Agency of Commerce grants, they're looking for crowdfunding, so that would be something that the Historical Society would also have to support.
Exactly. And, you know, there's the small grants for smart growth. There's definitely more out there that we can go through. And plus doing it as a national registered building in the National Registry would also open it up to more grants.
Is it on there now?
No, it's not. We need to get it on there.
It could be, and that could also be a help make Swanton a destination as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then those are just local grants there. There are some other more competitive federally funded grants that they may be. But that's also more capacity, if we're going partnership, more capacity that the town would have to put forth on grant management, as well as things like that.
So are you gonna be putting together a master plan at some point showing, for example, the purchase price, the renovation, total renovation, and then supplemented with an operating budget so that we'd see the whole picture?
Yes, and I was very much waiting for this inspection report.
Mhm.
And I am going to break it down into electrical, masonry, plumbing, general
Okay.
contracting. Oh, I did also reach out to Ross Lavoy for the trades to see if they could
Sure.
want to participate in this as well. Something to hear back, which would be great.
Yeah, especially if you need in-kind or like match, with in-kind work, yeah, that
Yes.
would fit the bill very well.
And, you know, things like, I was reading about, Holiday Open House sends off record season at Milton Museum. They did a great Christmas opening for everybody in the community. You know, this is what I would like to have for our community. Something that, you know, I could do a Christmas display, do a miniature of all of Swanton, back from the 1800s or something. It just kind of get the kids into the history again and community involvement. A gathering place.
Well, certainly myself, I would support that effort. You know, I'd like to have, more of a plan now.
Yes.
That's what we really need to see.
On January 10th, I have signed up with the Vermont Preservation Group that does project management for a building like this. So I'll be taking that course, and I'll have some more information and be able to organize it more for you then as well, along with what I have.
So are you looking for us to encourage you to continue to move forward on this?
I would like to have some more, I'd like to have an overall money-wise on what it would take to bring it up to where it is open to the public and safe and usable space for us. And, but the purchase of the building, I really would like to see that happen. It's a great opportunity.
When you said make it from the town, in other words, the town write a check?
Yes, town, village, town.
What is it, town?
Yeah,
It would be the town.
It would be,
Yes.
yeah.
For purchase of real estate, it would have to go by the taxpayers,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it would
Yes.
be an ask on the taxpayers.
Yeah,
That is a consideration.
that's right, you know, so that brings up a very good point, Nicole. They'll need taxpayer approval. So that's what you can do as far as the renovation and where that funding's gonna come from is gonna be critical.
Yes.
To have all of that information
Yeah.
for the taxpayers to make an educated choice if they feel that they can make the investment into the
Yeah.
building.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we can't, it's hard to make a decision without having the information in front of you, okay?
Correct.
But,
Let's move forward.
yeah.
We can move
let's-
forward.
We're not
yeah.
committing,
Yeah,
we've got a whole bunch of buildings now that we
I
own.
understand.
And so let's just, I'd like to say I would encourage you to move forward
Okay.
and keep getting more information, and so when it does go to the taxpayers, they will have a complete package, this is what it's gonna cost, X.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and
Very good, yes.
And I believe you can get that, enough grant funding to get it, suitable for the public. It's gonna be awful hard to pass up that,
Oh, yeah.
buying the property, that is a, you know.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate the work you're doing, Heather,
Thank
and
you.
Science,
A lot of work.
Historical Society,
A new home.
yeah, and,
And that'll free up the space in the library for programs and,
well, yeah, this could potentially be a win situation for everybody.
yes.
You know, I can see that, so keep working, we're very supportive, all the members are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
a lot of work.
Thank you.
Now we are down to community and economic development in the hour, it's getting kinda late, but I do believe
We do have another,
I know we got another thing on there too, but hold on, we're not
no,
going
no,
way down here.
right, no, you're right,
Uh,
you're doing the right thing.
I had, Steve, myself, and Brian met with our local representative, or gentleman, Matt Walker. We had a discussion about that Southern Growth District, and I think, you know, that was a good discussion, it brought up a lot of things that would needed to be done. There is a potential for a legislative tip, you know, I don't know if that's even possible, but I think we need to have, move forward we're trying to find, someone that is in the consultant business that could give us an idea, okay, if you're gonna have water and sewer up here, this is where you're gonna have to start, this is where it's gonna have to go, just rough it out by the, you know, if it's a 5,000 a foot, just, and you got 1,000 feet, you know what I'm saying. And I did talk a little bit with Steve just before this meeting, and, we're gonna try to get together next week and come up with some kind of a plan that we can present to, the industrial corporation, Franklin County, and Tim Smith, and that we would like some help with this plan so we can get something moving potentially out there. Now, that's a long way down the road and it may never happen, but we gotta, I believe we gotta try, especially when we're looking at all the things everybody wants. We need a place for some kind of growth that'll generate more grand lists and more income. And it's a good place there and.
No better time to start the conversation than now.
What?
No better time to start the conversation than now.
You know, so that's, you know, just a gist of it, and, once we get something put together, we're gonna work with Brian, and then he can get it out, you know, he gets the stuff emailed out, and then we'll set up something with
keep us in the
Tim, and, see if we can get something moving forward.
And I'd like to think we'd get the landowners to be a little more proactive in at least meeting with us.
Yeah.
That would be.
And right at this point, we haven't had, one gentleman, I guess, did say he would be pleased to meet with us.
Yeah.
But, so maybe we can get them involved.
Well, without them being involved, then
Exactly.
there's nothing.
And this might be a good outward expression of our interest in working with them.
Yes.
So,
Well, that's all I got on that, and if, I don't know if anybody else has anything, like I say, the hour is getting late. Any other necessary business? We do have one thing on there, and that's a selection of, vice chair for this board.
Should we wait until,
No, that's an option, but,
I mean, do you have to?
Well, you should have, but if Earl say we're not able to come tonight, okay, it falls usually,
On the vice.
well, it would fall on the vice, but if you don't have a vice, it'd go to the more senior member of the board, is what, any boards I've been on,
Would be
it
Nicole.
would just be sort of an automatic if they, wish to do so at that meeting. But it's, up to you, but,
Well, in both cases, it would be Nicole, so I would just nominate Nicole personally to be vice chair.
yeah, this'll all be redone after town meeting anyways, and I was just thinking, because the other day when, if this was last Saturday, I wouldn't have been here, okay?
oh no, you didn't sound good on the phone.
And you never know, I'm not young.
Really?
So, I think it's a good thing to have one, even though we're gonna be appointing somebody, but that's still a couple of weeks away. And,
I make a motion to nominate Nicole, since she's the most senior member. Besides yourself.
I think it's an excellent suggestion, but what happens if there's an issue where we need you to break a tie and you have a conflict of interest because you work for the town?
I know, that, I agree, I have that same hesitation.
Yep. I mean, I think you do a great job.
No,
I really do.
I understand.
But I think we would put our hand in the rat, no, because we'd be
That would
putting
be
our
in
hand
the-
on the trap.
No, I understand.
When we need you, you may not be there.
Right.
So that's my only concern. But I think you do a great job.
That would be the case if Earl wasn't here, right, and then you'd have to break a tie.
yeah.
So just don't ever.
Yeah, how you feeling?
Well, the doctor told me today I'm not in as bad shape as I thought I was. Well, we still need a chair, a vice chair. So I guess the next seniority member would be Cody. No,
No,
it
he was
would be
appointed.
Steve.
Prior to that, yeah, he was appointed.
That's right, you were appointed, that's, cause you ran for election.
Yep.
We didn't appoint you.
No, you did not.
Steve.
So, somebody should nominate Steve.
I'll nominate Steve.
Yeah, and I don't want it to be that I'm not in favor of Nicole.
No, I have the same hesitation that you do
Yep.
as well,
That's a
because
fair
I'm an employee
hesitation.
of the town.
It's a fair hesitation.
I don't think that it would be in the best interest of the community for me to sit in the chair
That's fair.
position.
Yeah, and I didn't think of that, Steve, so it's a good
I
thing
didn't- I
you did
didn't
bring it up,
Yeah.
because that could, yeah.
I didn't think of it either. I was just going by seniority, but that's a fair hesitation.
Yeah. So you nominated Steve be vice chair.
Does that need to be a motion, right?
Alright.
Or-
Yep.
I'll make a motion to nominate Steve officially.
And I'll second.
Okay, so the motion to have Steve Bourgeois be the vice chair of the Swanton Selectboard has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. You're the new.
Vice chair.
That comes with an increase in pay, of course.
I don't know, the way you've been whining about that, Steve. I think we're gonna cut it.
Yeah, your budget.
Right here. Extra paper clip.
Tables have turned.
I've been saving mine too.
You gotta lead by example, Steve.
I know.
Okay, now we go on, is there any, did you have anything else?
Yeah, there's the new appropriations.
Okay, all right, yeah. So, go ahead and leave that.
Okay, well, you've got two in front of you. The first was from the Abnaki of the Missisquoi, Nation of the Missisquoi, excuse me. And this is for the, specifically for the Abnaki Food Pantry through their nonprofit Maquam Bay of Missisquoi, is to help fight food insecurity in our tribal. And it is open to everyone. You do not need to be Native American to access their pantry. All are welcome. And today, their need, of course, continues to be urgent. They would like to ask the Select Board to consider their organization on the March ballot. They would ask, allocate $3,000 a year toward the food pantry. This is a very busy food pantry. They now feed up to 550 clients each and every month. Last year, they missed the deadline to put this letter in, so we weren't able to help them. So I said to Debbie, to Dubois, to Lavoie to get this in early. She got it in October 25th. So that's up for your recommendation. They do serve a very large, 550 people a month.
We have another food shelf here in Swan.
The Catholic Church
That's
runs
what I thought.
it. Yeah.
So what do we do? I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, I think they do a great job, but we have to consider the consequences of our actions. So if we give 3,000 to this group, what happens if the Catholic Church comes forward? Now we got separation of church and state issue to deal with. Have they ever talk about combining themselves, the two operations?
Yeah, you're never gonna see that happen, Steve.
How come?
I promise you.
Because I think it's really two separate,
It's
separate things.
it's, yeah,
Two completely different worlds.
yep.
Really?
It just, yeah. I could
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
absolutely educate you
Yeah,
sometime.
and I'm not
Yeah,
sure how busy the Catholic Church food shelf is. I don't
anything
know.
about that.
From my understanding, they're both very
They're both
busy.
very busy.
Food insecurity is a very large challenge for our community.
Yeah, and I guess my concern is that they both do a great job, but here we go again, we're duplicating things. And if they just got over whatever these differences are, they have one really big operation.
I don't think it's differences. I think that, a lot of times the same family will go to both food shelves.
Mhm.
So it's providing double to families. And a lot of these donators, or people who donate the food, sometimes they'll only donate to these guys and they won't donate to the other one. So it's not like they're getting the same food either. So it's kind of, yeah.
Too bad. The need's gonna get greater.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, can I step away from the select board momentarily?
Yeah.
What you want?
What? No, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
So that number has actually gone up already?
Yes.
It's well over 600 now,
Yes.
just from October and climbing. They're being, I say forced in a sense that they have so many clients now, they have to expand, their food shelf, with more equipment, better equipment. I mean, it's just, the need is right, literally every month.
I was pretty impressed when I went into to take a look at it. I mean, they do a tremendous job, but could we ask them to one more time, try to get together and so if we,
I would I've stepped away. I would absolutely invite you to a tribal council meeting to
well, we're trying to get there for another reason, as you know.
put it on the table if that's something that you wanna bring for consideration.
Well, I don't think it's up to us, but
No, but it's a good.
Heather, you got a comment?
I do. I see that they are the same purpose of helping the community and doing a food shelf and providing, but I do see the different niches in our community. You know, one is very faith-based and could have their own requirements by the Catholic Church. And then we have the Abenaki, which is more as well cultural, but it is open to all as well. But you know, I think combining that kind of two administrations might be, I mean, maybe for events or something like that would be great, but I don't think on the overall donation and functioning, they're kind of like two separate identities that way. And they recruit in different ways and support their communities in different ways. And, you know, I think they feel like, you know, they're both good, but I think combining them would be a lot of work that way, and administratively.
Yeah, they're a nonprofit and they don't, it's completely different
I
than.
think Damon
Yeah.
had his hand up.
We have another comment too.
Cody, is the use of the food pantries for even the Abenaki, how much has that gone up in the last couple of years?
Substantial, like,
What, like a number?
I don't
like
have a
20
number.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Can get you a number for sure.
Okay.
Or you can give Debbie, Lavoya a call. She's the office manager at the building.
Okay.
I just know for every month, like, we just had a tribal council meeting and that number is over 600
Right.
just
And that's
now,
just-
so.
And that's just in this year?
That's just in the last, since October to now, it's over, I'm gonna throw a number, 60 to 75 more clients than it was in October, just in November, you know, so that's colder the months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned double dipping, which always gets my hairs up.
I don't know.
But it's not
not
double
double
dipping,
dipping.
it's people in need utilizing two resources that are available.
So they go to one and they go to the other?
Absolutely.
They can,
We
right?
have a family of 6 or 4, and you go to this food shelf and they, say you go to this one and, you know, they give you a pretty decent box of food. That food's not gonna feed you very long.
And
So
it
then you go
changes
to,
every
and
month.
it changes, you know, and then you say this one offers meat and breads and pastas, and the other one offers you like pastries and maybe some soups or just examples. But what they are able or capable of giving you is not enough to feed you for a whole month by any means.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so it's a lot of people have to go to multiple.
Yeah.
You know,
How come they don't just give you more?
they just don't have enough to
Oh,
give
okay.
you more. You know.
Good answer. All right.
Yeah. And I'll step back on.
Well, they're asking for 3,000,
They,
She has a quick
they
question.
also, Abenaki also have a lot of refrigeration going on too, and they try to do more healthier, perishable foods to the, you know, to the community as well. Whereas I think the Catholics tends to be non-perishable for their storage, because it takes a lot more energy and stuff to keep those refrigerators going and running and stuff as well. So it's like that kind of different dynamics going on too.
It's been helpful, thank you.
yeah. So, I mean, do you wanna make a motion to the fact, one way or the other?
I have to abstain.
I know you'd like to, yes.
I would make a motion
I'll
to.
second it, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, motion's been seconded, made and seconded to allocate, $3,000 to the, Abenaki Nation of Missisquoi for their food pantry, all in favor?
All right,
Motion carried. Now we're gonna go on to the Franklin County Field Day.
Okay, Franklin County Field Days, it starts off as the largest agricultural fair in the county. It's a cherished place for the community to celebrate our agricultural heritage and tradition. It is one of the only places where families have left our affordable, wholesome fun for all ages, and the ticket price allows access to all Midway rides, exhibits, track events, entertainment, and parking. As we all know, the Franklin County Field Days has been looking for a new location for over a year. It's been well over a year since the state of Vermont has asked to terminate their lease of 20 years. Franklin County Field Days Management has been working with the Franklin County Industrial Development, Northwest Regional Planning, and state legislators to investigate possible sites around the county. And the state of Vermont has set aside $100,000 for the move, but it will not be enough to purchase land, get a clean water supply, move buildings, and set up tracks. They are a recognized 501c3 nonprofit organization, is requesting assistance from all Franklin County towns and cities in the amount of $5,000 appropriation in their corresponding town and city budgets. Please help us keep 4-H kids showing cattle, tractors, and horses pulling and derby cars smashing. Thank you for your support. So they're looking for, from each town and city in Franklin County, contribution of $5,000 to go towards.
So 10 grand from us, Swanton Village and town.
Well, no, well, they sent a letter to the village sends it to us. They said towns and cities, so the village goes with, because that'll go out in the general fund, so they basically will get, I think it would be 5,000 only from Swanton.
You got an idea how many, enough towns, how much land is that gonna buy? Every town in Franklin County approves 5,000.
Probably this table.
Yeah, you're not talking I know they've been, well, I was involved when I was in the legislature. I was a good 4 years going to those meetings, and they're looking for a certain type. It has to be sandy, et cetera, and you know, the price of land, what it is, it's pretty hard to come by, and have all the other amenities, and probably pass an Act 250.
Do they have a site in mind?
They hadn't, the last I knew.
The last I read, they not really have it.
We had one in mind when I was on, and I won't give specifics, but it was located actually within the town of Swanton, but that didn't pan out.
One of the complicating factors is that land trust, I had another word to go before that, has gobbled up the land.
Well, a lot of land. Yeah.
And 52% of Swanton. So the only way this would work is if the folks that oversee the land trust rules, which are really strict, would release some land. But that's never gonna happen, because they'd like every square foot of Vermont.
Yeah.
So that's a real complicating factor in all of this.
No, it is if you wanna do it in Swanton, yes.
Yep.
So for the 15 communities in Franklin County at 5,000 apiece, that's $75,000.
That won't even pay the attorney fees.
I think we ought to pass on this.
What do you think?
I also feel like we need to pass on this for right now.
We don't know how many other towns are gonna subscribe to this. We might be the only one writing a check.
Yeah, I do feel if they had something in mind, look, we need, in order for us to accomplish this, what we had, you know, if they had a purchase and sales agreement or something like that, it would be a lot different than just.
Yep.
Okay, so we wanna make a motion to pass on this?
I'll make a motion to pass on it.
Well, if we don't take any action, it just dies, right?
Well, I suppose somebody's gonna ask us, so we might.
Probably should write a letter and let them know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mean to make a motion to pass and write a letter?
Yes, pass and write a letter, that,
Yeah.
okay, and make sure that letter states that when they come up with a plan that's, you know, of what's gonna happen, then the town would certainly be interested in reconsidering their request.
At next year's town
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah.
Who's in charge of it?
This is,
Who's in charge of the?
this is Ferdinand Gagne.
They have a
He's the
board
rep.
too, and I'm not sure who's on it, but I bet you could Google it.
Yeah, they got representatives from every town in
In the
county
county, yeah.
on the board
Yeah.
as well. So.
Okay, so the motion was made by Cody,
Seconded by Nicole.
seconded by Nicole.
Yep.
So all those in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Motion carried.
Should we have Earl sign it or just have it on behalf of the
I can send it.
Is there any correspondence?
Well, we had that
letter.
email that you received
Yeah.
from
Okay.
Mrs.
So
Hazard.
that's just some more comments that I wanna make sure the board
Yeah, I read it.
had seen. You know, so, and then public comment, any more public comment? We wore you out, didn't we?
Thank you all for staying.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you coming and appreciate you expressing your opinions and don't be afraid to do it. So, we don't have any executive session on here because we don't need one, right?
No, there's nothing to,
No, then I guess we're ready.
You wanna do upcoming events?
Oh, upcoming events, yes.
I know he does, but I'm just.
Want me to do them?
You wanna do them? Go ahead.
Upcoming events, Monday, December 25th, 2023, and Tuesday, December 26th, 2023. Town offices will be closed for Christmas holiday. Friday, December 29th, Monday, January 1st, 2024 for New Year's Day.
Try to get it.
The town offices and operations will also be closed. But come on back for January 2nd, 2024 for the select board's regularly scheduled select board meeting at 6 PM here at the town offices and by Zoom.
Make a
I
motion.
also make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Wouldn't it have been quicker to just say that the days were gonna be open?
Do you?
Alright, motion been made to adjourn by Cody, seconded by Nicole, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.